My day at Matlanga Commission, I expect to be pushed out. Is what is this whole thing all about?
Sibiya's attorney, Ian Levitt, who was also present during the raid, says they will demand to see the affidavit that led to the search and seizure warrant being affected.
We will fully investigate and interrogate what has happened today. We will, once the application, which wasn't served on us, I must just say, which I will raise in court, we want the affidavit which gave rise to the search and seizure.
KZN Police Boss Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi alleges that Sibiya has links to criminal cartels in Gauteng. Aryan Singh, Eyewitness News.
The Special Investigating Unit says it will share more details about a raid at a home of tender tycoon Bongani Bingwa. The SIU seized 3 Lamborghini vehicles and several valuable artworks from his luxury Sandton property yesterday. This is part of an ongoing investigation into tender corruption at Tembisa Hospital. Bingwa is one of the people who are implicated in a syndicate that's accused of looting contracts at the facility, which were flagged by slain whistleblower Babita Diokaran. Ramushwana reports.
Businessman Bongani Bingwa's vehicles are now in the custody of the state, but EWN understands the SIU is expected to return to his home today to seize more of his assets. It's understood the SIU may target furniture from his lavish 3-story mansion. SIU spokesperson Wa Komotieng says the unit is unable to disclose further details at this stage.
Yes, we can confirm that there was an operation in Witbank. So, however, we were not able to take the cars. Like I said, we can't talk further until the legal process are finalized.
According to the SIU, 3 of the companies that received contracts under Bingwa's alleged syndicate are linked to Vusmuzi Kat Matlala. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News in Sandton.
And the South African Weather Service has warned Gauteng residents to brace for scattered thunderstorms over the weekend. Afternoon thunder showers are forecast, mainly for the northern parts of the province. Forecaster Litlakhonolo Tobela has advised residents to remain cautious, particularly in areas that may experience lightning and heavy downpours.
In Gauteng, we're expecting partly cloudy conditions with warm temperatures, but it will be hot in some places in the northern parts of the province. Isolated showers and thunder showers are expected into the afternoon. On Saturday, we're expecting partly cloudy conditions with warm temperatures to persist into the afternoon, with isolated showers and thunder showers still expected by the afternoon, especially over the central as well as the southern parts of the province.
Gold is trading at $3,966.27 an ounce. The rand is at 17.20 to the dollar, 22.88 to the pound, 19.91 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.16 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Benoni, we've got an accident reported on the N12 West. It's right near Patfontein Road. It is causing heavy traffic volumes already. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care. If you can, try to avoid the scene by using the N17 towards areas like Boksburg as well as Germiston. And then traveling on the M1 North, we've got some delays towards the Crown interchange. Peak time pressure piling up there.
And in your sport, Nadine de Klerk smashes 84 from 54 to snatch a 3-wicket win for South Africa over India at the Women's Cricket World Cup. Algeria beats Somalia to be the 4th African side to qualify for next year's FIFA World Cup, while tonight Bafana plays Zimbabwe at 6 p.m. in Durban. And the Stormers open the weekend's URC tonight against Scarlets.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with afternoon showers expected. Johannesburg starting at 12 degrees, peaking at 26. Pretoria 16 and 27. Vereeniging 13, also reaching a high of 27. The top story in EWN this hour. Police Commissioner Fanny Masimela says he never agreed with the disbanding of the Political Killings Task Team, adding that Minister Senzo Mchunu failed to provide a good reason.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
6 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Breakfast. It's a Friday. It really is the morning after the night before, because what a busy news day yesterday. Our Eyewitness News colleague Mbali Dlamini yesterday afternoon, I think on her Instagram, she put up a post that says, if one more press conference, one more breaking news story happens, I'm going to lose it. It was just that kind of day, was it not? We're going to unpack it all for you, including, of course, what happened in the SIU raids, those press briefings by people accused in some serious wrongdoing, and some of these characters, a picture is beginning to emerge about exactly who they are. And get your cup of coffee, put the kettle on, get your cup of tea. You're going to need to sit down for some of this, right? If you're driving, just give yourself a little time, because we're going to give you the tea. We're going to break it down for you, because whoa, is that busy in South Africa. It's a Friday. That means Political Desk. Today we have the pleasure of Steve Vovo giving us his political analysis. I've missed hearing the politics side of it. The host of The Money Show, of course, will be joining us for that. And then we're going to have a conversation about fear, intimidation, and accountability in the police. Okay? When the police are running scared, you got to worry. We'll talk corruption. We'll also look at the G20 correspondence desk, and we'll tell you about the Blue Table, which is going to be a feast of memory and color.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 after 6, where are you, 702 landers? Are you in Eden Park? Are you in Olifantsfontein, Rabbi Ridge, Steuben's Valley, Vuchehevel? Where are you? Kailami Hills, Huguenot, Ekangala, Elroad? It doesn't matter, because my colleagues, Amoramila, good morning.
Good morning, Bongani. Morning, 702 landers.
Muteo Haripe.
Happy Friday, Bongs.
And I are about to do what we do every Friday. Clear your throats. Here we go. I want, 2, 3.
It's a Friday. It's a Friday. It's a Friday.
There we go. That's all out of the way. Now we're done with that. We've got producers Rapiwa Kode and Siamtanda Matiso taking your calls. Cindy has everything you need to know about the Cricket World Cup, and how about the Proteas women, hey? Golly. Right? Sfisa Zulu has everything you need to know in Eyewitness News.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Right now, yesterday, you may have watched all the drama unfold with the press briefings in the afternoon. It was just one after the other. The chief of staff of Senzo Mkhunu's home was raided yesterday, and so far from what we can tell, they were looking for devices. They're obviously trying to connect some of the allegations around Ngabinde to what we have heard being uttered by people like Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Now, Natasha Marion, who is, of course, a political editor of, in fact, not just political editor, I beg your pardon, she's the Business Day editor at large, has written quite a piece that traces exactly who this guy is. And it makes you, because, you know, when you've heard snippets about somebody here and there, and then somebody puts it all together. And I'll give you some brief highlights. All right, so this was, of course, Senzo Mkhunu's chief of staff, right, Cedric Ngabinde. And it appears that at the heart of the issues that Mkhwanazi has read, at least has mentioned, is that letter to disband the political killings task team, right? It's now understood, or at least Mkhwanazi's version, is that it was Ngabinde who wrote that letter. Senzo Mkhunu merely signed it. Right? So that's the first pop-up of this name, Cedric Ngabinde, right? Mkhwanazi then says to the ad hoc committee that he knew Ngabinde as sort of an old colleague, right? So Ngabinde used to work, of course, at the Independent Police Investigative Directorate. This is IPID, and so that's where he says they would have met each other. Now, it gets more interesting because, of course, at the time, or at least there was a time when IPID was investigating Senzo Mkhunu, who used to be the premier of KZN. There was something about making some case involving a death go away. IPID investigates this, right? Cedric Ngabinde at the time is working at IPID. You with me so far, Muteo? Right. Then Ngabinde introduces Mkhwanazi to Mkhunu later when Mkhunu was the Water Affairs Minister, right? This is just before he switches over to the police, right? At this point, Mkhwanazi says Ngabinde was unemployed. Ngabinde, of course, refutes that, and he says he was the head of forensics for some unnamed bank. He won't tell us which, but Ngabinde says, Mkhwanazi, beg your pardon, says at this point Ngabinde was unemployed. And Mkhunu plucks him out of unemployment and makes him his chief of staff. Now, when he was at IPID, and this is where it gets really dramatic, when he was at IPID, Nkabinde was involved in a number of investigations where he was accused of contaminating cases to make them go away or to at least get a particular outcome. In one particular instance, he was found to have misled the court, right? So this is who Nkabinde was, plucked out of obscurity by Senzo Mchunu to become his chief of staff. In fact, his time at IPID doesn't end well, because when Robert McBride was the executive director, he eventually says, hi. What is now also understood, because Robert McBride, remember, was in a tussle with Bheki Cele for many years after his contract as executive director of IPID wasn't renewed. It's now believed it was because Nkabinde wrote Cele a letter to say, get rid of this guy. Now, you are the new police minister. This is who you bring on board to be your chief of staff. In fact, Mkhwanazi says, now listen closely. Mkhwanazi says, when he was appointed chief of staff by Mchunu, Nkabinde called him and said, hey, chief, and guys, what am I going to do there? What do we do? Huh? What do you know? He didn't know. At least if you believe Mkhwanazi's version. And now Nkabinde says, Mkhwanazi and I were the best of mates. Have you ever had someone claim friendship or closeness with you? And you're like, okay, I mean, I know him. I've met him. We were jawling together. We used to hang out. We attended parties together. Oh, you don't believe me? Have a listen to Cedric Nkabinde telling us about his friendship with Mkhwanazi yesterday.
I'm still gonna talk about in an ad hoc committee. The very same General Mkhwanazi was a very close friend of mine. Party together, come to my house, go to his house. Very close friend of mine. And when I was employed in a private sector, General Mkhwanazi knew where I was working. He used even to come to my workplace to visit me. He used to attend our NDF functions, that he knows where I was working. But now, because of desperate move to tarnish my name, he come and blatantly lie that Minister Mchunu found me unemployed, of which he knows very well.
That's the part where he then goes on to say, actually, I was the head of forensics for one of the banks. But he doesn't say which bank it was. Hey, how do you deal with that? Somebody claims friendship with you. And yeah, okay, I know him. I've met him. We've kind of been in the same spaces together. Paths have crossed. But friends partying together? On a far more serious note, Cedric Nkabinde, the former, or at least the chief of staff to suspended minister Senzo Mchunu, also made allegations that there were people who came to his house wearing balaclavas, attacked his brother, searching his place without a warrant because they wanted to get to him.
The police visited my flat and I was not available. My brother was only available. They knocked, banged the door, and my brother, when he opened the door, they thought it was me. There were plus or minus 15 to 20 wearing camouflage with balaclava cover their faces with high caliber rifles. And they thought my brother was myself, and they demanded to search the flat without showing any warrant or any search warrant. When the brother asking them to show a search warrant, they started to assault him, thinking it was me, and then they started to search my flat.
He went on to issue a very, very chilling warning, saying if anything were to happen to him going forward, nobody else but the National Police Commissioner would be responsible.
I want to tell South Africans that should anything happen to me, the National Commissioner, General Masimula, will be responsible. I thank you.
So what do you make of all of that? What do you make of all of that? I'm still coming to Shadrach Sibia. I'm still coming to the SIU raid on that beautiful house. In fact, what we've done, because I've got such fantastic producers, this was a house that was featured on Top Billing. How many times have you been told that, right? We've gone and found the clip of Hangwani Mulautsi's house when it was featured on Top Billing. We'll give you the Top Billing description of it in case you missed it. And I suppose it leads me to this question. With all that is going wrong in the country, right? I've just given you a litany of examples. With all that's going wrong in the country, what do you think is going right? Anything? In your community? If not the country, in your life? Muteo Haripe? How do you answer that question? With all that's going wrong in the country, it's a Friday. Let's have a good news Friday. What's going right in the country? If not the country, then your life.
I think what's going right is that South Africans are still waking up to get active, to contribute to something with all the crazy things that we're hearing. I mean, it's one of those things that would be demoralizing, but people are still getting up and moving ahead with their lives. I think that's the good thing that's happening in the country. Another good thing is that we're possibly seeing a lot of changes we never thought we'd see in our country. People getting exposed, the SIU, doing more and more investigations. I mean, we've been complaining about these things since state capture. So I think some good is happening. Whether that turns into
permanent
people
good
behind bars, we don't know.
All right. Amo?
I feel like my what's happening, what's good in my life feels like it's not so good after hearing what Muteo had to say. But I'm going to lighten things out a little bit. There's a song that I saw being performed at Joy of Jazz, okay, by Vusi Mahlasela and Billy Munama, right? They just went into the song. They didn't introduce the song, and it frustrated me because it's such a beautiful song, Bongani. For a very long time, I've been looking for the song and I couldn't find it. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I said, no, Muteo, please help me. I'm looking for the song. And I played the video because I had the video of the song. And Karabo, our digital producer, put his something like a Shazam, and we found the song, and I've been listening to that
What's
song.
the
So
song?
It's renewing my hope. The name of the song is called A Proud Nation.
Okay.
A proud people.
KG,
A proud people.
No challenge for you, because now we all have to hear the song.
It's by Vusi Mahlasela, A Proud People.
Proud
A
people.
very beautiful song, and I think it does speak to the kind of nation we are.
All right. What's going right in the country for me is the fact that we're still even able to have these conversations, right? We're still able to bring you this information as it happens. A proud people, a proud nation. Proud people.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 072-702-1702. With all that's going wrong in the country, is there anything good happening in the country, do you think? Do you feel? Is there anything good happening in your life? Let us know.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
20 after 6, Mateo Haripa, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, are you a great friend for all occasions? Now, let me explain. Are you a great friend when somebody's going through grief? You find that you handle people's emotions better? Or are you a great friend to go out and celebrate with, to be there during a graduation?
I think I like to try to be both, right? Because I think when you go through tough times, it's fairly obvious that you want to be there for your friends, right? I think anybody can be there for you actually during tough times. You know, if you're crying in the middle of the street, somebody is bound to stop and say, "Are you okay?" Right? Even a stranger can sympathize, right, and reach out. But the real test of friendship for me has always been, who am I when you're doing well and I'm not? Who am I to you when you're succeeding and I'm failing? Who am I when you are soaring and I feel like I'm sinking? Aha. Now that, my friend, is the true test of friendship.
702.
Weather.
What conditions can you expect on this Friday? Temperatures peaking at 26 degrees in Johannesburg. Both Pretoria and Vereeniging will max at 27. You can expect a cloudy Friday for Gauteng. Some showers expected later. Cape Town peaking at 26 degrees. Durban 28. And East London 27.
EWN Traffic.
All right, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, Ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got a major accident scene in Benoni. It's right on the N12 West. It happened after Patfontein Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Kingsway Road. If you are traveling out of Benoni towards areas like Germiston as well as Boksburg, please try to use the N17 as an alternative. And if you are heading towards Germiston, this scene will delay you for about 10 minutes. While traveling on the Mark 1 North, we've got some delays along the route towards the Crown Interchange. Obviously, peak time delays towards the Joburg CBD. There's also peak time pressure along the N3 North between the Yelands Interchange and Van Buren Road. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You could spend 10 minutes hunting for the TV remote or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 29-year-old Sana, who now pays an incredibly low 796 Rand a month for her 2025 Jatura Dashing. With Outsurance Comprehensive, you get 24/7 roadside assistance in case you break down, run out of petrol, lock your keys in the car, and more. SMS out to 45142. Get used to getting more. After switching, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month for her 2025 Hyundai Exter. Not an Outsurance client yet? Get a quick and easy quote today. If Outsurance can't beat what you're paying, ask them for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years. Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our new Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
Medical care, like music, needs continuity, a steady rhythm and pattern. Patients attended to on time, medication taken as prescribed. Cut the rhythm, and it falls apart. Right now, global funding cuts are restricting access to healthcare. With your support, Doctors Without Borders can continue to provide medical care to communities worldwide. Because medicine, like music, only works when uninterrupted. Doctors Without Borders, we go there.
In Africa, we say the chameleon looks in all directions before moving. At Plus 94 Research, we understand the importance of careful consideration. By analyzing comprehensive data and diverse perspectives, we help you make informed decisions that stand the test of time. Don't leap without looking. Move forward with insight and precision. Plus 94 Research, the science of decision making.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
The PIC confirming now that they have plans to invest around 1.3 billion rand in what it calls early stage mining. Half of that will be in South Africa. Heidi Sternberg is the sector specialist for mining at the Public Investment Corporation.
The SBI fund at the Public Investment Corporation can also fund after a bankable feasibility study. But before bankable feasibility study, for those projects that still need to get to that stage, that is the gap that this fund is looking to cover.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Curtis, is brought to you by ABSA. ABSA is a proud lead sponsor of B20 South Africa 2025. ABSA is an authorized FSP and a registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Yo, hi, Bongani, Guningi. Now, NJ, you don't even know where to start. Like, you're trying to combine all the pieces so that it makes sense, but still it doesn't make sense. Yay! Ha! Sauda. Happy Friday. Lucia from Pretoria.
Look, if nothing else, a picture is emerging about who exactly Senzo Mchunu is himself. Because how do you bring a guy like this with such a checkered past? Right? This is somebody a court has found misled the bench. Right? What else is misled? So I think a picture is beginning to emerge about Police Minister Senzo Mchunu himself, but his chief of staff is alleging that he was assaulted by armed men who raided his home and assaulted his brother whilst searching for him. In Ekurhuleni, the Metro Police have demolished shacks in Brakpan's Plastic City. Just even that name, hey? An informal settlement occupied by illegal miners, it's alleged, and many undocumented foreigners. And despite violent resistance from residents, police assisted, at least the SPCA and other agents destroyed 80% of the illegal structures and rescued even animals. How far do you take pranks? Are you a prankster? Listen to this. A man in Kentucky, Stephen Markham, was arrested for what they're calling terroristic threatening. So what he did is he displayed fake body bags outside his home, labeled with local officials' titles. Residents and authorities viewed it was all part of Halloween. It was meant to be a Halloween joke. Well, he's behind bars now, isn't he? If you drive along Hendrik Potgieter Drive near Hillfox Center in Roodepoort, there's a sinkhole there that's caused a partial road closure, and motorists are being warned that sinkhole is linked to illegal mining. And on this day in 2002, Jay-Z dropped his single Bonnie and Clyde, and it featured Beyonce in her first major solo appearance since Destiny's Child split. And, well, the rest was history, right? Because it was all about the rumors of their relationships when Jay-Z famously dubbed them the new Bobby and Whitney.
702.
The newspapers.
Take your picks, Visa Zulu. What's going on in the world?
Who would you like to see get the Nobel Peace Prize?
Not Donald Trump.
It's
Not
exactly,
Donald Trump, I can
it's
tell you that.
exactly what the AFP is looking at this morning. So today, the Norwegian Nobel Committee will announce the recipient of the Peace Prize, and it is mostly highly anticipated to be announced at around 11 a.m. today. And everybody's just like looking at that angle of Donald Trump, because since he returned to the White House in the second term, he repeatedly insisted that he deserves the Nobel for his role in resolving numerous conflicts, a claim that experts say is broadly exaggerated. And he was asked by AFP if he thought he had a chance, and he said that, well, I don't know what they're going to do really, but I know this, that nobody in history has solved 8 wars in a period of 9 months. But experts insist that he has no chance, noting that
Zero.
his America First policies run counter to the ideals of the Peace Prize.
Look, maybe Antonio Guterres,
yes,
right?
Yes,
the UN Secretary
absolutely.
General, he could be a contender.
Yeah.
But if you read nothing else today, please buy yourself the Business Day and go through Natasha Marion's really pieced together article of who Senzo Mchunu's former chief of staff was. And it really is, it paints quite a picture of Senzo Mchunu plucking out of obscurity an unemployed man who is now alleged to be the link between the suspended police minister and underworld figures. And as she asks Natasha Marion, why would the minister bring such a controversial character to become his chief of staff as police minister?
EWN Business.
A friend for all seasons or just the jawls? Mteo Harupe wants to know, are you there in the tough times? We have a toast, some friends and I.
Yeah.
And we always toast to the good times and to the bad times and to all the times in between. That's what friendship is. What prompts the question?
Well, gold has been viewed as a safe haven investment, Bongani. One you put your money in when you are
all
in
seasons.
trouble. But some analysts say the surge in the price of the yellow metal this year is making the argument that it's an investment for all occasions. The price of gold topped $4,000 an ounce for the first time this week. Our prices have soared by 54% so far this year, putting it on track for its best yearly performance since 1979. Now, much of the surge has been fueled by United States President Donald Trump, who returned to the White House at the start of the year. Gold prices rose sharply in April when Trump launched a trade war against much of the world, and it also rallied again in August as the US president attacked the independence of the Federal Reserve, which is the US central bank. In the face of all that uncertainty, many investors turn to more reliable assets like gold. Investors often turn to gold when they lose confidence in other assets, typically in periods of economic uncertainty. But many investors are now wondering whether the precious metal should be a bigger part of their investment strategy. Of course, consumers can get exposure to gold either by buying physical gold as in terms of bars or coins if you have that kind of money, or investing in gold-backed exchange-traded funds, or owning shares of mining companies.
Where would you keep a gold bar? Even if you could afford one.
It would stress me.
Where would you keep a gold bar?
Probably in a vault in a bank
Right?
somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, where's the rand?
Rand at this hour, 17 Rand 20 against the US dollar, still in a good position at 19 Rand 89 cents against the euro, and at 22 Rand 89 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $3,956 an ounce, or platinum is at $1,597. Brent crude at exactly $65 a barrel. More business after 7.
Straight to Sfiso Zulu we go now. It's wet out there, Sfiso.
That's right, Bongani. Joburg Emergency Services is urging motorists to exercise caution on the roads as most parts of the city have experienced rainy conditions. EMS has advised drivers to keep a safe following distance in traffic, while residents are warned to avoid crossing low-lying bridges and flooded areas. EMS spokesperson Robert Mulaudzi.
From our side as the City of Johannesburg Emergency Management Services, we remain on high alert, monitoring all 7 regions of the city, together with our aquatic rescue unit, which is a specialized team which responds to water-related emergencies.
Employment and Labour Deputy Minister Jomo Sibia says the department will intensify inspections across Gauteng as government moves to tighten the enforcement laws and roots out the illegal employment of foreign nationals. Speaking during an inspection at a steel manufacturing company in Turffontein, south of Joburg yesterday, Sibia said the province, as the country's economic hub, will be a major focus area in the department's ongoing compliance drive. He said that the operation conducted yesterday was a success, adding that it revealed that while the company was largely compliant, gaps remained in areas including occupational health and safety as well as UIF contributions. Tandoluhle Ngobo reports.
Employment and Labour Department Deputy Minister Jomo Sibia says the department's role is not only to inspect workplaces and enforce compliance, but to also guide and assist companies in meeting the required labour standards. He says the focus will remain in Gauteng for now, as it's the centre of the country's economy.
I must say to South Africans, this is not a once-off.
Sibia also added that government is determined to ensure that available jobs are prioritised to South Africans than undocumented foreign nationals.
We want South Africans to be prioritised. Our people want to work. We don't have jobs.
He said the department will continue to collaborate with other government agencies to ensure that all workplaces are fully compliant and that South Africans are protected in the labour market. Tandoluhle Ngobo, Eyewitness News.
The Western Cape Mobility Department says it hopes taxi associations can find a peaceful solution to their issues. This comes after the Western Cape High Court made a ruling yesterday dismissing Taxi Association Codeta's urgent interdict application against the closure of some of its routes. Routes were closed due to a rise in taxi-related shootings, with a 30-day closure implemented by the Provincial Mobility Department. MEC for Mobility Isaac Sileku says the focus must remain on restoring stability and ensuring that no commuter or operator's life is at risk.
With 7 days remaining in the 30-day extraordinary measures, we call on all parties to return to the table and work towards a lasting, peaceful solution.
And a powerful magnitude 7.4 earthquake has struck off the southern Philippines this morning, triggering tsunami warnings. Authorities say that destructive tsunami is expected with life-threatening wave heights on the country's east coast. Coastal residents have been advised to immediately evacuate to higher grounds or move further inland. Waves of up to 3 meters were forecast for threatened areas in the Philippines and up to a meter-high waves in Palau and Indonesia. A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 12 and 16 degrees, peaking at highs between 26 and 27.
There's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N12 West in the Benoni area. This is due to a major accident scene that's been reported right after Patfontein Road. It's causing about a 20-minute hold-up coming out of Kingsway Road. Please be on the lookout there. and expect about a 20-minute hold up towards areas like Germiston as well as Boksburg.
The top story this hour, motorists are being urged to be cautious on the roads as more rain is expected.
In a world where everything is instant, some things are worth slowing down for. You took the time to build a life of distinction. Every moment, every milestone, every decision. At Indwe, we take the time to understand your world and craft insurance solutions to protect it. Because true peace of mind is the greatest luxury of all. The right insurance starts with a conversation. It starts with helloindwe.co.za. Indwe Risk Services is an authorized financial services provider.
It's that time of the year. Sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, blocked noses and coughs. It's time to live, work, play and sleep allergy-free. For trusted relief for you and your family this allergy season, ask your pharmacist for the Adcock Ingram OTC Allergy Survival Pack. With products like Allergex Non-Drowsy, Cetisid, Levogex and more, we have you covered. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC. And visit beprepared365.co.za.
Get ready, Mzansi! Powerball has rolled over to a jaw-dropping 130 million rand guaranteed jackpot this Friday. Walala Wasana. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 130 million rand jackpot today. And you could hit it lucky with the big millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, Sunphone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Hi, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality, and sustainability, with Africa at the center. Tune in today between 6 and 9 a.m. for the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702. Brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. Get all the latest news, views, insights, and breakthroughs from the summit as it happens. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702. Brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hey, morning, Bongs. Obrin Foslora here. Bongani, yes, with everything that's going on, at least something positive in South Africa. Bongani, it is raining. You know, when it is raining, Muslim, maybe donation $1 billion, yes, small billion. So let it rain, Bongani. $1 billion, $1 billion. Bongani. Foreign countries, Venezuela, donate just $1 billion. It's raining, man. It's raining, Bongani. Thank you, Bongs.
I have a reason for wake up, Bongani. I'm a father of 4, married for 11 years. I have to wake up and go to work. And look at the Cricket World Cup, the women. When I opened the phone today, they've won back-to-back wins. So there are things that are going right in the country. Case in Kaches.
One thing going right, definitely prettier ladies. Nadine de Klerk, what a star.
Hi, Bongani team. My name is Tabo from Alberton. You know, with all the things that are happening in the country at the moment, the right thing that I think is happening, well, in my space, I'm seeing a lot of young black farmers really stepping up the game, doing the best they can to become successful commercial farmers. And yeah, I'm also in the space. I'm not successful, but yeah, I feel everything is going in the right direction for me. So yeah, young farmers, established farmers, all the South African black farmers stepping up the game for me is the right thing that is happening currently. Thank you.
We're asking the simple question with so much that is obviously going wrong in South Africa. What do you feel is going right? And if not the country, what's going right in your life?
EWN Sport.
So yesterday, Cindy Paluta, a very good morning. Cindy's just walked in because I definitely know what's going right in South Africa. Yesterday at halftime,
yes,
they played the highlights of the previous Women's Cricket World Cup, the game in which South Africa booted India out. And it went down to the last over, and I think we needed 3 of 3.
Yeah.
And then there was a catch. And I think we were like 8 wickets down or something. And then it turned out that it was a no ball. So we had a free hit.
Drama, huh?
And we won by a whisker. But it was just one of those close games. And it was so funny because as the commentators, Cass Naidu was speaking, I think, to Nasser Hussein and another commentator, and they were talking about, would this be that kind of game? And boy, oh boy, was it a fantastic game last night.
So I'll tell you what happened with me. So I watched the first innings and I was like, oh, come on.
252.
Because the Proteas women, if you're wondering what we're talking about, were absolutely phenomenal yesterday at the Cricket World Cup. I watched the first innings and I watched how, with so many teams in this tournament so far, they literally get the host side or the side batting first, like 6 or 7 down early, and then they just allow like a last tail order batsman to come in and India posted 251 and I went, India are unbeaten in this tournament, 251. Yeah. Can we do it? Then I got into bed last night and I flicked over to the news, and the news had crossed live into the game, but I didn't realize it was live into the game, so I thought they were showing highlights. And then I realized it was live into the game, and then I switched over to Supersport so fast. And when I saw we needed, I think it was, I stand to be corrected, but at that stage we needed something like 30 something or 15 or something. I was like, we can do this. And then I'm so glad I stuck. I watched with my hands over my eyes. I watched through my fingers, but it was so worth it because the Proteas women in the end beating India by 3 wickets. India, as I said, 251 all out. It was Gosh that made 94 and Chloe Tryon took 3 wickets. And then they looked in trouble when Nadine de Klerk came in at number 8 and she smashed an innings winning unbeaten 84 from 54. That was the 5th highest successful chase in World Cups and their 8th highest in women's ODIs. Player of the match, Nadine de Klerk.
When me and Chloe were batting together, we just said we wanted to take it deep, and we felt like if the two of us were still batting in the back end, we backed ourselves to get 10 runs and over in that last 4 or 5 overs. So, yeah, it was just about being really positive, taking the smart option, I guess. And, yeah, I'd still try and put their bowlers under pressure.
Proteas women are 4th on the overall table with 2 wins from 3 games played. In FIFA World Cup qualifier, Algeria is the 4th African side to book their spot at next year's World Cup after beating Somalia 3-0. They join Morocco, Tunisia and Egypt. Uganda stays 2nd in the group after beating Botswana 1-0, 3 points clear of Mozambique, who lost 2-1 at home to Guinea. Tonight, Bafana battles Zimbabwe in a World Cup qualifier. Captain Ron Williams says the players are well aware of what's expected of them.
We know what's at stake. It's coming to the end now, and it's the business end of the qualifiers. But nothing needs to change. We just need to be the team that we've been over the last 2 or 3 years. We've been growing. We've been so good, but we need to finish it on a positive note.
Kick-off in Durban tonight, 6 p.m. In the United Rugby Championship tonight, Stormers away at Scarlets. Coach John Dobson on the changes the side as well as the boost of being able to call on the Springboks.
Obviously, Paul de Villiers is one of the rising stars at open side flank in the country. To have Dion back him up gives us a fantastic roster. So I think generally all very positive changes. Adre, we only got a visa late, but we wanted to give Connor another run anyway, and we wanted to give Ruben a start. So obviously the only blow or the enforced thing from last week was the injury to Nietler.
Tomorrow afternoon, the Lions at Benetton, Sharks at defending champions Leinster, and the Bulls up against Ulster. Cindy Pelusa, Eyewitness News Sport.
702. Serving the 702 family in 702 land, including those of you in Kempton Park. Kempton Park was established in 1903 when Carl Friedrich Wolff subdivided a portion of his Zierfontein farm into residential stands and named it after the German town of his birth. Apart from suburbs, Kempton Park is also the home of many chemical and manufacturing industries, the Calvin Power Station, and OR Tambo International, Africa's busiest airport. 702. Let's walk the talk across 702 land, including Kempton Park.
The all-new Audi A5 has arrived with a panoramic sunroof that changes transparency and a B&O sound system built into the headrests. Every detail makes driving feel like an art form. Visit your Audi dealership, book a test drive, and experience the Audi A5 from 14,499 Rand per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za for more. T's and C's apply, and it's brought to you by Audi Financial Services, a division of Volkswagen Financial Services South Africa Pty Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for plumbers, electricians, and other tradesmen. Pumlani.
Switching to OUTsurance was one of the best decisions that we've ever made. We needed business cover over 15 million. OUTsurance came forth for us. At Kani, we sleep better at night, knowing that we always get something out of OUTsurance.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Your office is more than just a place to work. It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Morning, Uncle Bongani. My name is Tiang, and I'd like to be a radio presenter when I grow up, and I'm 13 years old. Today, I'm very excited to play the Whiz Quiz with you, and I go to Law School, Florida. Thank you.
Ooh, Tiang, you're coming for our jobs, are you? Good luck to you, mate. 10,000 Rand is what's up for grabs.
702.
Coming up at 7:15. The big interview.
EWN Traffic.
Get a traffic update from Amo Ramela. There are wet roads out there. That N12 West crash, is that the reason?
Well, Bongani, it is causing heavy traffic volumes, so please be on the lookout if you are leaving Benoni at this particular moment. It will take you about 20 minutes to get towards Boksburg as well as Germiston, so please be patient and approach with care. Traveling on the N3 North, we've got a car stuck on the road. It's on the southerly direction, but the delays are on the northerly side of the route towards the Kilulis interchange. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Fellow taxpayers, make tax matters a #1 priority by submitting your personal income tax return by the 20th of October 2025 deadline. Once your tax return is submitted, you'll receive a notice of assessment stipulating if there's any tax assessed debt due to SARS or not. Should you owe, it's crucial to settle tax obligations on time to avoid any penalties or interest charges. SARS, at your service.
You might not always notice us, but your safety is our priority. From the moment you step out of your home, drop your child at school or arrive at work, when you trust someone to cut a new set of keys or attend a packed stadium event. From VIP protection to safeguarding goods and property, your security matters to us. Choose wisely. Choose right. Only use CIRA accredited security service providers. CIRA. Safer homes, safer businesses, safer communities.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by OUTsurance. Up to 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. So you send us an answer based on something you heard in the show, and we'll give you $1,000 for that. WhatsApp your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Then later, someone else will ask a question to get your answer, and for their troubles, they'll win 2,000 Rand. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Up next, we look at the political week that was, but let's give away some cash, shall we? Tiang wants to be a radio presenter a little later on in life. You're coming for our jobs, are you?
Yes.
I like it. I like it. Let's play the Whiz Quiz. KG, start the clock. Spell the word correct.
CORRECT.
Correct. True or false? Saudi Arabia has no rivers.
True.
Correct. In which province is the Two Oceans Marathon run every year? Is it in Gauteng or the Western Cape?
Gauteng.
It's in the Western Cape. Give the verb in this sentence. Cricketers wear white.
Wear.
Correct. On Halloween, kids go what or treating?
Trick-or-treating.
Correct. The word avo is short for which fruit?
Avocado.
Correct. True or false? The Earth is in a galaxy called the Milky Way.
True.
Correct. Which letter is the second consonant in our alphabet?
F.
C. From which large heavenly body do we get solar energy?
The sun.
Correct. How many millimeters are there in 3 centimeters? 30 is the answer we were looking for there. 30 is the answer we were looking for there. And that means you walk away with 7 correct answers. 700 Rand. Not bad for a Friday morning, Tiang. Congratulations. You're age 10 or 13. Send us a WhatsApp voice note and we will be calling you to play the Whiz Quiz.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
702.
The Political Desk.
8 to 7, onto this now, looking back on the week that was. The Political Desk, of course, as you remember, for a long time was Tsidi Madia's gig, and we're trying to keep things in-house. You've heard Mandy Wiener give analysis, and we thought we'd bring back Stivovo, the host of The Money Show. Many years, of course, was a political head here at 702. Stivovo, I'm sorry to wake you up so early, but thank you for your time.
Oh, Bongani, like you, I have children. I've been awake for hours. It certainly feels like it. How's it going?
Listen, you can't fall asleep really in our political climate at the moment. Let's start with the new, do I even call them new or old kids on the block, Unite for Change? The Business Day asks a very interesting question this morning. Do you think they'll shake up the political center, or are they flirting with oblivion?
So I think it's quite difficult. I think there is a group of people in South Africa who kind of like what I would call the moderate constitutional middle. They believe in this sort of, they see themselves as progressive. They want to be working with other South Africans from other communities. And by that, I am talking specifically around race. They want to basically move away from identity politics. And Bongani, this gets to the creation of a sort of new identity that we're seeing. And the first person to actually tap into it was Herman Mashaba, which is this kind of urban identity where you have political parties that have people from very different parts of our communities working together because they believe in one sort of thing. And it's almost a rebellion against what I would call apartheid identities, if you know what I mean. And I think this grouping is really the group of parties that symbolizes that, except for Action SA. And in a strange way, their fate, the whole fate of Unite for Change, may really be what happens with Action SA voters. Do they go for what Unite for Change is sort of selling, or do they stick with Herman Mashaba? And that's quite a big call. Bear in mind, there are so many votes up for grabs now because so many people, I think, I mean, you know, polling data suggests this, but I don't know for sure, that used to vote for the ANC, which really did birth us the Constitution. Let's not forget that. And they're looking for a place to go. So whoever taps into that kind of wins.
It's going to be interesting because they don't have an obvious leader, and I think there may yet be a tussle about how that pans out. But we'll see if it's a compelling alternative for Johannesburg in particular come next year. All right, let's look at the other big story this week. General Mkhwanazi in Parliament. He made extraordinary claims about the judiciary, which he said he would provide evidence for in camera, but also worryingly, wants the monitoring of journalists. Haven't we seen that movie before?
Indeed. I mean, this always ends up in dictatorship. Let's just be clear about where this ends. Obviously, as a journalist, you know, I'm honor bound to defend journalism and journalists, and I will. And I think Mkhwanazi is just plain wrong on this. I mean, he's trying to criminalize what you and I do, Bongani, and what all of our colleagues do. And I was saying to someone in our room yesterday, you know, in our workspace, you know, he's talking about the people at EWN. He's talking about someone like Tsidi Madia. You know, that's what he's talking about. I'm also, and I just want to raise a concern about Mkhwanazi here, because obviously we all want an end to crime. And let's just be clear, this inquiry, the breaking up whatever syndicate seems to be involved, whether or not involves Senzo Mchunu or not, is not going to end hijackings, okay? It's not. The problems in our society are much more deep-seated than that. There is no savior. It's one of the terrible things about becoming an adult is that you sort of realize there's no one person who's going to save us from ourselves as South Africans. We have to do it, all of us. The other thing that worries me is that you've got Mkhwanazi answering questions in Parliament from MPs about kind of anything, you know. He has a view on this, he has a view on that. And I'm like, it's not kind of your space. It's like me as a radio presenter being asked by MPs what I think of producers and my bosses. I don't do their job. I have no idea what it's like. I mean, I have a vague idea. I have opinions, but it's not my space to tell Parliament those opinions. The other thing, and I just want to point this out, because I think this is what's going to happen, and this worries me a lot, is you've got this ad hoc parliamentary committee with this inquiry, that's in public. You've got the Madlanga Commission, that's in public. My understanding is that there's also the Intelligence Committee of Parliament, which is going to happen in private. And in the end, you're going to have a series of muddled outcomes. So instead of just one inquiry like we had with Zondo, we knew what to do. The fact that the president didn't do it, and I'm calling him out deliberately, is on him. But we knew what needed to happen. With these commissions, with these inquiries, we're going to come out with a muddled picture. They're all going to contradict each other because politics is involved. And the result is, and this is the worst part, nothing's going to change.
Look, and I think the other worry, of course, is about the role of Parliament and many of the politicians, as you say, quite frankly, fawning when it comes to their questioning and the things they're asking Mkhwanazi. But let's move on. Related to that in some way, a day of drama yesterday, SIU seizures. And of course, we saw press briefings by Shadrack Sibiya and Cedric Nkabinde. What did you make of all of that?
You know, it's one of the great strengths of South Africa, and we don't sort of understand this, we don't talk about this enough, we don't celebrate it, is that all of this stuff happens in public. And our society has got to a point where, and I'm so grateful for this, where our listeners and our communities demand the information from the people who are in power. And so you can't hide this stuff, you know. And so I think that's really important. In the end, what you actually need is legal findings. It's not enough just to institute charges. What you need is court cases. You need the people involved to be answering questions under oath where we can see them. And it needs to be judges, not inquiries, judges in courts. And so I'm hoping that that's what happens, is that we get to that sort of point with all of this. Because I can't tell you now who's right and who's wrong. I don't know. But I need to see Mkhwanazi taking questions in court as a witness. I need to see Sibiya taking questions in court as a witness or as a suspect. And the same for so many of the other people involved in all of this.
It does help if you remove, I'm going to come in there, Stephen, and say it does help if you remove the incentive for wrongdoing, of course, at the very least, even if we don't get that particular outcome. And just very quickly, the return of Kenny Kunene to Johannesburg politics, he's back.
Yeah. It's madness. So he's at this meeting with this person who we know is wanted for murder. Okay, so assassination, serious stuff. His party boss says we're going to suspend him, but I know we're going to clear him at the end. I mean, should we be surprised when he's cleared? If you look through that report by that Santon law firm and why they got involved, I'm really not sure. I mean, basically they spoke to Kenny Kunene's mates. They spoke to no one else. So it's, to me, all a little bit of a nonsense. Yes, it was a sort of bit of a power play, force the ANC to bring Kenny Kunene back. In the end, in democratic politics, if voters decide that we're going to judge Kenny Kunene on what he's done as the person in charge of transport in Joburg, well, he won't get further than the nearest pothole.
And how impressed were you, Stephen, by Xolani Khumalo, wants to be Ekurhulene's mayor?
Unimpressed, I'm afraid. I thought he gave you a nothing burger when he spoke to you earlier this week, Bongani. Look, you know, any candidate can do a bad interview, but Ekurhulene's just been badly served. You know, overall, I am not one of those people who thinks that a journalist or a presenter can go on to automatically be good at politics.
Nope.
I have huge respect for Ngezo Zibi, but I don't think you can just go from being a TV presenter and suddenly, you know, this is where you are. There's another thing here. Political parties are desperate for attention. I mean, desperate. And they're picking people for the attention they'll get and not for what they'll actually do. And that's bad politics all round.
It's not really even form, and it's certainly not substance. Stephen Krotos, appreciate your time. This week's Political Desk.
702. Coming up, the big interview.
The big interview focuses on corruption and also fear within the top echelons of our law enforcement. Have we become that society is the question we're asking. All of that to come after this Eyewitness News brought to you by Khaliks. Khaliks, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is EWN.
Shadrack Sibia says he's ready to defend himself, and the SIU says the raid at Hangwani Maumela's home is just the beginning of a crackdown on alleged tender criminals. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Gauteng top cop Shadrack Sibia says he will not be drawn into the public to comment on allegations of whether he is linked to criminal cartels, but will rather answer questions in a formal sitting. Sibia is expected before Parliament's ad hoc committee next week. He will also testify at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Both bodies are probing allegations of criminal and political interference within SAPS. A task team raided Sibia's Centurion home yesterday, where they took cell phones and a laptop as part of an ongoing investigation into criminal syndicates in Gauteng. Oren Singh was there.
Allegations against Shadrack Sibia have been made public by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhonazi and Crime Intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo. However, evidence linking Sibia to suspected cartels in the province have not yet been made public. Yesterday, Sibia would neither confirm nor deny links to organized criminal syndicates when questioned by the media. He claims he is waiting to provide evidence to both Parliament and the Madlanga Commission.
My job is to investigate criminals. It is my space. I'm not a priest. I don't deal with Christians. I'm not a school principal. I'm a policeman. I'm a policeman and I've investigated organized crime for many years. I'm almost 37 years in the field of what I'm doing.
Sibia will appear before Parliament's ad hoc committee on Monday. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
National Police Commissioner Fani Masimula has told Parliament's ad hoc committee probing police corruption that there have been deliberate attempts by politicians and the media to discredit him. Masimula has warned against running unverified information and spreading what he calls falsehoods to cast aspersions on his professional integrity. He was giving testimony yesterday in the parliamentary hearings where he illustrated how rogue elements in the police are able to spread disinformation using media and politicians. Mabalon Denza reports.
Fani Masemola says it's also been a target where some rogue elements use various means to destabilize the police. He says an example is how information was used to discredit him, either through the media or through politicians. Masemola says this followed reports that he was facing imminent arrest by the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption earlier this year.
Honorable members, I say that there is a deliberate effort by certain politicians to discredit me and cast doubt on my integrity.
He says the media is also responsible.
Around May, June 2025, stories began to appear in the media that the IDEC was about to arrest me and that warrant of arrest has been issued, and even reported that I was in my office and I was shivering with fear.
Masemola says he never faced arrest, and this was also dismissed by IDEC. He says he believes in media freedom, but will continue engaging industry bodies like the South African National Editors Forum. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The Special Investigating Unit says it will share more details about a raid at the home of suspected criminal Hangwani Maumela. The SIU seized 3 Lamborghini vehicles and several valuable artworks from his luxury Sandton property yesterday. This is part of an ongoing investigation into tender corruption at Temba Hospital. Maumela is one of the people implicated in a syndicate that's accused of looting contracts at the facility, which were flagged by slain whistleblower Babita Diokaran. Alpha Ramushwana reports.
Businessman Hangwani Maumela's vehicles are now in the custody of the state, but EWN understands the SIU is expected to return to his home today to seize more of his assets. It's understood the SIU may target furniture from his lavish 3-story mansion. SIU spokesperson Wa Komotieng says the unit is unable to disclose further details at this stage.
Yes, we can confirm that there was an operation in Witbank. So, however, we were not able to take the cars. Like I said, we can't talk further until the legal process are finalized.
According to the SIU, 3 of the companies that received contracts under Maumela's alleged syndicate are linked to Vusmuzi Ket Matlala. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News in Sandton.
An Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says that the government has approved the framework of a hostage release deal with Hamas as both sides edge closer to ending more than 2 years of war in Gaza. The accord in Egypt follows a 20-point peace plan for Gaza announced last month by US President Donald Trump. The Israeli government says the ceasefire will take hold within 24 hours. Netanyahu had faced pushback from his far-right allies, with the National Security Minister saying he would vote against the agreement, calling the plan to release thousands of Palestinian prisoners in exchange for the 47 hostages remaining in Gaza an unbearable heavy price. Netanyahu has praised Trump and the Israeli military for the war, despite a pending genocide case at the International Court of Justice.
We couldn't have achieved it without the extraordinary help of President Trump and his team, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. They worked tirelessly with Ron and his team, our team, and that and the courage of our soldiers who entered Gaza and the combined military and diplomatic pressure that isolated Hamas, I think, has brought us to this point.
Gold is trading at $3,966.27 an ounce. The rand is at 17.20 to the dollar, 22.88 to the pound, 19.91 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.16 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident reported in Benoni along the N12 West, right near Patfontein Road. Do expect delays coming out of Kingsway Road while travelling towards Sunny Hill. Roadworks are still causing delays on the N3 North between Marlborough Drive and the Baklu interchange.
And in your sport, the Proteas women hand India a first World Cup defeat, winning by 3 wickets thanks to de Klerk's unbeaten 84 from 54. Bafana well aware of the country's expectations ahead of tonight's World Cup qualifier with Zimbabwe. And Algeria beat Somalia 3-0 to be the 4th African side to qualify for next year's FIFA World Cup.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with afternoon showers expected. Johannesburg is at a low of 12 degrees, peaking at 26. Pretoria 16 and 27. For the Incheng 13, also reaching a high of 27. The top story in EWN this hour. Gauteng top cop Shadrack Sibia says he will not be drawn into the public to comment on allegations of whether he's linked to criminal cartels, but he'll rather answer questions in a formal sitting.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Picture this, you're in the office preparing a big presentation for that important meeting and you accidentally spill coffee all over your crisp white shirt. Don't stress, because the emergency shirt service from Khaliks, you could have a brand new shirt delivered to your office in no time. All it takes is one phone call or a visit to Khaliks. So next time you have a sartorial mishap, don't cry over spilt milk. Get the emergency shirt service from Khaliks, because accidents do happen. Khaliks, for the businessman who knows what he wants.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 7 o'clock, a day of drama yesterday. We saw raids and press briefings by a number of people who have been in the news lately, and we're trying to piece some of that information together for you. And it really has been extraordinary, the developments that have occurred in recent months in South Africa. You remember, of course, that yesterday, one of the things that happened was that the suspended Police Minister, Senzo Mkunu's Chief of Staff, Cedric Nkabinde, accusing the KZN Police Commissioner, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, and the National Commissioner of raiding his home to seize devices that he said contained evidence meant for his testimony before the Madlanga Commission and that ad hoc committee. So that's another story we've been keeping an eye on. But the other moment of drama yesterday, of course, was a special investigating unit raid that was quite unbelievable. That SIU raid on businessman Hangwani Maumela. One of the things that has been in the news is how the home that you saw on your television screens yesterday was once featured on the defunct television program Top Billing. And as I understand it, and I've got a good source, I've got it on good authority, that Hangwani Malaudzi bought it lock, stock and barrel as it was. I want you to listen to this description by former Top Billing host Jonathan Boynton Lee, who toured the stunning Hyde Park home, designed by the interior designer Wanda Michelle. Now, to make sure I'm not casting aspersions on them, it would appear that they would have designed this house before Hangwani owned it, if you understand what I mean. So he may well have seen it on top billing and said, ooh, I want that house. Lock, stock, and barrel with the furniture. And I think the art was curated for the previous owner. But have a listen.
You know, this home, when we took it over, our client bought it and needed it renovated just to add his own personality to the environment. And we decided to upgrade the finishes. We've redefined the staircases. You might see above us the bulkhead with beautiful pendants that we've added, and we've curated some incredible artworks, local artists throughout the home, from this beautiful Ben and Letaya on the wall here. Everything was designed and caused to be manufactured. These pieces are all bespoke. It's custom made. And the colors are designed to reflect, again, what the client enjoyed.
Well, of course, I mean, I can't speak to the art because there may be questions about that. But in terms of the furniture and the look and feel of the house, he designed it he bought it exactly as it was. Have a listen to more descriptions from that top billing feature in 2019. It's quite unbelievable. This is what people want. And they'll, obviously go to Tembisa Hospital and the like for it.
So the lift takes us down to really a very opulent bar and cinema area, and of course the 300 square meter basement parking.
Wow, that's a big garage.
It is a big garage.
I just love the way everything's built around the pool in like an L shape. So whether you're watching TV and the water's right there, or you're cooking a meal, you can look out onto the pool.
Yes, and all of these windows and doors open up so that you can always have the benefit of fresh air into your space.
And it's always lovely to have an outside dining area and lounge area.
30-seater table. Imagine a 30-seater table, a 300 square meter garage. That's not your house. A 300 square meter. Think about how big 300 square meters is. It's got a lift. And that is the house that was raided, and it's understood, as you've just heard there in Eyewitness News, that the Special Investigating Unit will not only share more details about its raid at this particular home, but they may be back there to seize even more. Yesterday, of course, they walked away with 3 Lamborghini vehicles. I think the Times is reporting that the SUV had less than 500 kilometers on the clock. These are brand spanking new. And that's what the money from Tembisa Hospital bought.
702. Up next.
The big interview.
EWN Traffic.
14 minutes after 7 o'clock, this Eyewitness News traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 451142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got good news. That accident that was on the N12 West has been cleared, but traffic remains a bit slow coming out of Kingsway Road towards Parkfontein Road. Please be on the lookout there and continue driving with care. But if you're heading towards areas like Midrand as well as Sunninghill, do expect heavier traffic volumes along the N3 North. This is due to the long-term roadworks that are taking place along the route. The southerly direction of this route is also affected. If you're heading towards areas like the city of Tshwane as well as Midrand, maybe try using the R21 North and then turning off at Olifantsfontein Road. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 88. You accidentally set your alarm for 6 p.m. instead of 6 a.m. Don't know if they'll buy that. Well, fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsman ease traffic congestion to get you there quickly and safely. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
It's spring, SA, and here at DecoFern, we say it's time to say yes. Say yes to new friends. Yes to new adventures. Will you marry me?
Yes!
And definitely say yes to a few new things.
Welcome to DecoFern.
Say yes to awesome savings at the DecoFern Furniture Spring Sale, with up to 35% off on outdoor furniture and much more. In store now or at decofernsa.co.za.
The South African Future Trust Summit in partnership with Standard Bank returns to the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November. If you haven't bought your tickets yet, the next week is your chance to walk away with 5 free tickets. From Monday, send us a WhatsApp to 072 702 1702 telling us how you would benefit from attending. Make sure to include the keyword SAFT with your name and ID. Then stay tuned to 702 Breakfast with me, Bongani Bingwa, to find out if you're a winner. So be sure to grab your tickets to join the South African Future Trust Summit. It's going to be 2 days of unparalleled networking and learning from entrepreneurs, innovators, change makers, and look forward to also experiencing the Big Pitch Finals live, where South Africa's brightest startups compete on stage for $1 million investment in their business. I mean, you'd hate to miss this, wouldn't you? The South African Future Trust Summit in partnership with Standard Bank, 5 and 6 November at the Sandton Convention Centre. T's, C's and more on primemediaplus.com.
So Taryn, you've just graduated cum laude, but nothing says you're a genius quite like selling your car to We Buy Cars.
Absolutely. My car was an 18th birthday present and it's time to move on to something a bit more mature.
So where did you hear about We Buy Cars?
All of my friends are using We Buy Cars. I would have had legit FOMO if I hadn't used them. And it was so quick. I did it on my laptop while sitting around my CV.
Smart move, Taryn. Graduated and upgraded. We Buy Cars. Geared for success. Geared for you.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality, and sustainability, with Africa at the center. Tune in today between 6 and 9 for the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, and it's brought to you by RMB and FNB. The latest news, views, insights, breakthroughs, the G20 Correspondence Desk. RMB and FNB are divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
18 minutes after 7 o'clock. I just thought it perhaps worth taking a moment to take a step back and just look at our corruption crisis. We've spoken about patients literally on their deathbeds at a hospital like Tembisa, tweeting ministers of health saying, "Help me, I haven't had food, I haven't had water, I haven't had clinical care for days." On the other hand, we are seeing now, of course, links to all sorts of mafioso organizations and millions spent on luxury homes, on Lamborghinis. How much has corruption become a deep-seated problem in this society? I've invited Professor William Gumede, who is, of course, Associate Professor at the Wits School of Governance, to talk to us. Prof, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Our corruption crisis feels now like a drumbeat that's ongoing and really not stopping.
Good morning, and good morning to the listeners. Yes, it has become so systemic. We as a society, we absolutely now need to push back. I mean, almost as we're fighting against the tides here, because corruption has become normalized across all parts of society, and that's our problem. And when society is, collapsing to such a moral, degeneration, it is very difficult to undo it.
It's easy to talk about corruption in the grand scheme of things, right? You can mention the 2 billion rand at Tembisa Hospital. Not many of us are buying luxury homes with Lamborghinis, but we also need to acknowledge that for many South Africans, it's become the norm. It's not shocking to be asked by a Metro police officer, for example, for Coca-Cola. Many South Africans don't expect to get, let's say a driver's license without paying a little something on the side. How many shop assistants offer you some kind of back way to get whatever it is that you might be trying to purchase from, say, a retailer? All of those things have become part of our norm.
No, absolutely. It's become a part of our norm. And I think what people poorly understand is, once corruption becomes normalized, it is very difficult, or it's almost impossible to create the jobs, to reduce poverty, to get the public service delivery. It is impossible. If you look at societies that that's gone down this route of where corruption becomes so endemic, You can have all of the policies, all of the great ambitions, but there's very, very little you can do to realize that. I mean, for example, just from a research point of view, if you look since the Second World War, if a country just reduce corruption, and like say in SA, if we just reduce corruption by 10%, think of it, 10%, we'll get our 3% growth rate that we want.
How do we do it? How do we turn around this problem? Because you and I can sit describing it for hours on end, but how do we do it? Can we think of examples where countries have been able to reverse this kind of tide?
Yes, we can do it. If you think about, when we think about these Asian economic miracles that done so very, very well since the Second World War, they actually did not only come up with economic policies, but a key part of it was actually they dealt with corruption across society. So there are two things we need to do. First, we need to get a society-wide effort and mindset, and almost a society-wide movement that is an anti-corruption movement, not a political, a society-wide, where the society decides, no matter what, they'll never ever vote for anyone that is corrupt, no matter their color, no matter their ethnic group, no matter their liberation struggle credentials. So there has to be a society-wide, and the same, for example, for traditional leaders, for religious leaders, do not support anyone who is corrupt. And that's what these societies did. I mean, in South Korea, for example, they had a movement like that. In Japan, they had a movement like that. So parallel to the economic transformation, or I would rather actually say, that sort of society-wide movement across from the professions to the communities, to traditions, to religions. Yeah.
Allow me to push back. Aren't we expecting too much of the ordinary folk, of the public? Because many people will look at those in power, those who have access to the kitty, and they'll say, hang on a minute, if they get away with it, why shouldn't I? I mean, we've had, say, for example, the Zondo Commission. Look how little has come out of that, R1 billion later. And so many years later, many of us are looking back and are completely dissatisfied. And until there's real consequence at the very top, asking the public to stand against this is an unreasonable one, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is. And yes and no, because the public will have to do something. We have to get, from the ground level, we have to get a grassroots movement, anti-corruption movement. We have to get it. And then parallel to that, what we need to do is, we need to get, to unroot corruption out of our politics. Unfortunately, in our country and countries like our country, politics are very, very important. People use politics as a route to earn money, to become powerful, to live a life of luxury. So a part of a mindset change must be, to get not to support any politician that is corrupt. I mean, unfortunately, in our politics right now, people don't take corruption seriously. They'll vote for an individual, even if the individual is corrupt. And that is the key part of it. People, ideology and color and all of these other things, people would rather go for those things and do not think that corruption is actually, the root cause of everything. So you can vote for a person that you think is a revolutionary. The person is corrupt. You will never in your lifetime get anything good out of that person.
All right.
We'll
have to leave it there, Professor William Gumede. Do you buy his argument that we as a society, as the public, need to rise up against corruption in society? Can we do so if those at the very top believe they can get away with it?
702
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
One of the things we have to absolutely consider is what is happening with those who are meant to enforce the law. They themselves are saying they are running scared. We've heard from the likes of Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi talking about concerns for his own safety, or at least that he doesn't have private security. Shadrack Sibiya yesterday describing the raids at his home as tactics to push him out. A picture has emerged about Senzo Mchunu and his chief of staff. And yes, I do know they will have their turn at both the Madlanga Commission and indeed that ad hoc committee. But there's a troubling picture around those who are meant to enforce the law. Ben Turon is the executive director of Whistleblower House and joins us now. Ben, you heard some of my conversation with Professor Gumede. If you link it with law enforcement, or some might argue the lack thereof, what is your sense of what happens next and how we can fix this?
We need political will. And the problem in South Africa is those that are in power don't care about us. I recently addressed the South African Council of Churches, and I said to them, the whole of South Africa Council of Churches, that unfortunately in South Africa, there is no priorities. The government do not have priorities. And somehow we've survived 30 years without any priorities, because if you look at how they treat the most vulnerable, those that need the most, and I can give you two examples, education and the elderly in SASSA. If you are not willing to at least pay attention to that and to make sure that that gets done properly, you have no other, and now recently with the health issues, 2 billion rand being stolen, there's no noise. The people that have done these things are still in power, they're walking around. And at the moment with the commission, that is now starting to unfold, but not a direct result of the investigation done. This is coincidental to the police investigation.
But what can the ordinary folk do? What can you and I as ordinary citizens looking at all of this and saying, hang on, this is not the society we want to leave for our children? What can we do?
I suspect that South Africans are tired. And in many cases, people don't make the connection between the cross that they make. In a year's time, there'll be crosses being made for local government and the results on the ground. So in Johannesburg, there's no water. There's a water problem. Next year, people will go out and still vote for the same party that currently is running, causing water problems. There should be education when it comes to, and I think William Gumede speaks to that point in various forums, is that there need to be education that people understand their rights in terms of the Constitution and their obligations in that Constitution, understand their role in how society and democracy works. So in my mind, if we vote right, we will get the right people in place, and then we can hold the people to account.
Many voters might say, who are the right people?
If it's not the right person, you'll vote again until we get the right people that deliver services to South Africa. We deserve better.
We deserve better indeed. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, Ben Turon, the Executive Director of Whistleblower House. And earlier, of course, we spoke to Professor William Gumede, an Associate Professor at the Wits School of Governance and the founder of Democracy Work Foundation.
EWN Business.
29 after 7, Mateo, local manufacturing falling in August, and that extends the declines.
Yeah, factory output fell by 1.5% year on year in August, extending declines for the second consecutive month. The manufacturing sector continues to face challenges like higher electricity prices, weakened demand, and cheaper imports. Data from Stats showed that the largest negative contributors were the basic iron and steel industries, non-ferrous metal products, and metal products and machinery division, which contracted by essentially 6%, and the food and beverages division, which fell by 3%. Year-on-year declines in output have been quite extended in the manufacturing sector, and is quite concerning given that it contributes so much to GDP.
The PIC is feeling bullish, allocating 1.35 billion rand for early stage African mining projects. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's mining projects across the continent, so they'll be funding most of these smaller projects. This investment aims to capitalize on the continent's vast mineral wealth and growth potential. The PIC will focus on investing in mining projects across the continent, targeting commodities including copper, cobalt, nickel, lithium, and manganese. Investments of up to 400 million and as little as 100 million rand would be taken out in terms of that particular allocation.
All right, where's the rand?
Rand at this hour still quite good against the dollar at 17 rand 20 cents against the US dollar, 19 rand 91 against the euro, and 22 rand 90 cents against the British pound. Price of gold now at $3,972 an ounce, while platinum is down 2.5% at $1,599. Brent crude at $64.91 a barrel. More business after 8.
Time now for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Sfiso Zulu. Let's start at the Department of Social Development. Good morning.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. It says it's reviewing appointments made in Minister Sisisi Dolashe's office following reports of irregularities. Dolashe yesterday told Parliament she would not tolerate a breach of procedure or conduct that undermines public trust. The department has pledged to return to Parliament's Portfolio Committee once investigations have been concluded. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
Minister Sisisi Dolashe yesterday moved to clarify matters related to the irregular appointment of an inexperienced personal assistant with a falsified CV. A former chief of staff who apparently acted without her authority in making the appointment, and a special advisor reported to be earning 2 government salaries. Dolashe also told the committee there was no malice intended when Parliament was previously told the Director General, Peter Netshipale, had been appointed for 5 years, when in fact Cabinet had only approved a year-long contract.
This was just a clerical error, not an intentional act.
Dolashe says the recent negative publicity her department has attracted is intended to damage her reputation and dignity.
They have also been deliberately made to discourage and divert public attention from our concerted efforts to root out bad apples in the system.
Some MPs claim they were being contacted by affected parties to ask particular questions in the parliamentary meeting. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Police Minister Senzo Mchunu's chief of staff says he fears he might be killed before presenting evidence at the Madlanga Commission and Parliament. Cedric Nkabinde says armed and masked police officers raided his home on Wednesday night. He says that he wasn't at home at the time, but his brother was allegedly assaulted by the officers. He believes they were there to confiscate his electronic devices containing evidence.
I know the experience as a police officer myself, where in some instances, they can plant a firearm and shoot you, pretending as if you shot them. So the fearing of my life, it comes in that line that why a police officer wearing a balaclava? Why do you hide yourself if you're coming to do a legitimate police work?
Nkabinde says he's reached out to the Madlanga Commission and Parliament about when he can present his evidence and respond to allegations against him made by the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
Should the police want to get hold of me in the process of their investigations, can it be a search and seizure? It will have to be done through my lawyers because I don't trust them, I don't feel safe, and with everything that has been said and with all desperation to link myself and the minister in any wrongdoing, I don't trust them to come without my lawyer.
Joburg Emergency Services is on high alert for any incidents across the city as rain is expected today. EMS has advised drivers to keep a safe following distance in traffic, while residents are warned to avoid crossing low-lying bridges and flooded areas. Joburg EMS spokesperson Robert Mlaudzi.
On our side, as the City of Johannesburg Emergency Management Services, we remain on high alert, monitoring all 7 regions of the city, together with our aquatic rescue unit, which is a specialized team which responds to water-related emergencies.
And a powerful Magnitude 7.4 earthquake struck off the southern Philippines, triggering tsunami warnings in the Asian nation as well as neighboring Indonesia. There are no reports of casualties, but some parts of the country are expecting damage. The latest Philippine quake struck just 11 days after a 6.9 magnitude quake killed 74 people and destroyed or damaged about 72,000 houses. A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers expected today. The temperatures are at lows of 12 and 16 degrees, peaking at highs between 26 and 27.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is in the Spruitview Katlehong area. It's causing about a 10-minute hold up towards Heidelberg Road. So if you're traveling along this route, if you want to try and avoid it, please use the R59 North into areas like Alberton. While traveling on the Mike 1 North, peak time delays between Boysons and the Crown Interchange.
The top story this hour, the Department of Social Development says it's reviewing appointments made in Minister Sisisi Tolashe's office following reports of irregularities.
Tip your way to glory in the Hollywood Bets Punters Challenge, the free-to-play horse racing game with daily cash giveaways and massive jackpot prizes. Pick all the winners on the race card and you could win 100,000 Rand. Bet 50 Rand or more on your selections using the Bet Slip feature and you could walk away with 1 million Rand. Visit punterschallenge.hollywoodbets.net today and tip your way to the top. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
Ready to lead the future of business? At Wits Business School, leaders don't just adapt, they define what comes next. Choose from a wide range of postgraduate programs designed to develop your leadership and strategic thinking skills. So whether you're looking to deepen your expertise or broaden your horizons, there's a qualification for you. At Wits Business School, ambition becomes leadership. Visit wbs.ac.za to find the program that's right for you. That's wbs.ac.za.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again. In, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani. Les Matthews here from Benoni, listening to your interview about rooting out corruption. The answer is very, very simple. Don't be the silent majority and use your vote. Mindless voters who keep on voting for the same political party decade in and decade out deserve corruption in their lives. Use your vote and everything will change. Have a good day, team.
Hi, Bongani. Adding to the interview you just had with Ben Theron, I think politicians are people who can't achieve anything on their own and then group together and then start looting and mistreating people. This is Papla from Estras.
Hi, Bongani. With regards to the conversation you just had with the prof, I couldn't agree more with him. You know, it starts with us as the society. When you consider that you are in trouble and you don't hesitate to take out a court drink for a speeding fine or jumping a stop sign or drinking and driving, we are the enablers of the corruption that we see today. So it is absolutely a society embedded problem. This is Matota from Germiston. Great show, man.
We're talking corruption and how we change our society. It's one thing for us to see that top billing house, and it's such a good example of it, right? I mean, this is a house that's easily worth, 100 million Rand. It is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you've seen the aerial shots. They're all over social media and the newspapers this morning. And the interior is no less spectacular. 300 square meter parking garage, the swimming pool, the lift, the bespoke marble stairs, the artworks, all of this absolutely stunning. And then we saw, of course, yesterday, the 3 Lamborghinis being wheeled away by the SIU. So I understand the attractiveness of all of this on a grand scale. But as you know, what's that saying? As you point a finger, 3 are pointing right back at you. We all accept it as a norm that you pay the cop some juju money because you got behind the wheel under the influence. It's not a shock. I don't care who you are. There's nobody, if you spoke to your friends and you said, listen, I got stopped. In fact, don't we even warn each other? Hey? Don't we even warn each other after that party, after that staff function? Hey, avoid William Nicol. There are cops there. Don't we send each other those messages in WhatsApp groups? And so, yeah, we can point at the grand scale of it and tisk. Oh, it's so shocking. Look at what they did to those poor Tembisa hospital people, hey? As if we are not a part of it. So I absolutely accept what Professor William Gumede says about a societal sea change, but we also need strong political will. We also need to know that if they don't get away with it, we won't get away with it. People aren't good. People don't behave and obey the law just because they're nice people. We do so because we're afraid to lose everything and go behind bars. But if people aren't getting behind bars, why on earth would we be afraid?
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. It's a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. So first, 1,000 Rand for an answer, and then 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question that gives you that answer. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from Musa, who is in Kempton. That's how Barry Hilton always says it. Musa, is it very rough in Kempton? Like Barry Hilton says. You don't know. You don't care. All right, Musa, please give us today's answer.
A proud people.
A proud people. Ooh, Musa, you're rough on us this Friday. A proud people. All right, let's see if many people can get that one. Musa, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
Yes, I do.
Your biscuit, 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. A proud people is what Musa is giving us as an answer. Goodness me, that's a rough one, hey? You know what the question is? Call us now on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
All right, 17 minutes before 8 o'clock, let's talk sport. Cindy Paluta, 24 hours ago, you and I were talking about the Cricket World Cup, the Women's Cricket World Cup, and the steep hill the Proteas women had to climb.
Right.
And boy, oh boy, how
Did they do
it.
it? Did they do it? Absolutely. Proteas women handing India their first defeat at this year's Cricket World Cup, winning by 3 wickets. Chasing 252, the Proteas were in trouble on 81 for 5 after 20 overs when Wolfhard and Trine put on a 61 for the 6th wicket. Wolfhard went for 70. Trine with de Klerk put on 69 before Trine went out for 49. South Africa needed 41 from 25 and a hero's knock, and Nadine de Klerk delivered. Scoring 39 off her next 15 balls she faced, she took South Africa to the 3-wicket win with an over to spare. De Klerk finished on an amazing unbeaten 84 from 54.
It's my natural game. I've always been kind of more an aggressive batter, trying to take the game on, and I think today it was just about not trying to overhit the ball. I think simplicity is everything. I think today it was just about really backing myself and not, like I said, not trying to overhit it and just time the ball. It was quite a good wicket, so I think, like I said, it just worked out well, especially with the paces, just try and use the pace.
Proteas women are up to 4th at the table. They're level with England and India, but with a lower net run rate. Later today, New Zealand go in search of their first win. They play Bangladesh. In the men's game, there's live test action on the go where India elected to bat against the West Indies in the second test. India currently 73 for 1. Bafana battles Zimbabwe in a World Cup qualifier tonight in Durban at 6 p.m. Bafana, who were recently docked 3 points, must win tonight and beat Rwanda on Tuesday. Captain Ronan Williams.
We've set ourselves high standards. When we started the World Cup campaign, we said that we want to be there and we want to qualify. And it's close now. It's in our hands. And I think that's the most important thing, that we're not going to look for favors or rely on other teams. We want to get the job done. And that's the mentality that we all have.
Last night, Algeria became the fourth African side to qualify for the World Cup after beating Somalia 3-0. Algeria hasn't qualified for World Cup since 2014. Uganda beat Botswana 1-0 to stay second in that group, 3 points clear of Mozambique, who lost 2-1 at home to Guinea. Stormers kick off the weekend's URC action tonight against the Scarlets. Captain Roan Nel.
Travel has been good. I won't say it's a disruptive week, but it's a very unique week in terms of you're traveling in the week, so your time on field is not necessarily as much as we would have if you play Saturday. But I think the boys responded well. We just literally come from captains. It was a real good energy. Obviously having Sasha and Damien back in the team as well, so the boys responded well. The challenge was obviously just to sharpen up on our details, seeing that we don't have as much time on the field.
Tomorrow afternoon, the Lions at Benetton, the Sharks at defending champions Leinster, and the unbeaten Bulls up against Ulster. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
At Anglo American, we mine more than minerals. We mine possibility and progress with purpose. For over a century, we have been part of South Africa's story, investing in our country's potential and unlocking opportunities together. This year alone, through our Kumba iron ore business, we've invested 25.9 billion rand into South Africa. This includes infrastructure development, education and healthcare, community upliftment, and more. Follow us on our social media channels, Anglo American South Africa, and join the conversation. Anglo American, mining potential, building beyond.
Ready to sell your vehicle? We Buy Cars goes above and beyond to make it simple, quick, and rewarding. Sell your car, bike, boat, or bakkie for a great price with instant payment. Trading in or buying next? Explore over 12,000 vehicles, plus get flexible finance and cover options at webuycars.co.za or at any branch. We Buy Cars, the best way to buy or sell.
Running a business is tough. You need tools that just work. That's why more South African businesses are switching to Mac. At iStore, we make it easy with 4,000 rands in added value when you switch. That's 3 years extended warranty and remote tech support, leaving you to focus on everything else. Switch to Mac with iStore, your expert partner. T's and C's apply. Mac at iStore. Run smooth as business should.
EWN Traffic.
13 minutes before 8 o'clock, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. There are delays on the Mike 1 South. Amo, what's going on?
That's correct, Bongani. That's due to roadworks that are taking place right near the Call It Drive exit. As a result, we've got about a 15-minute hold-up towards areas like Rosebank as well as Melrose. Please be on the lookout there. If you're traveling along this route, expect about a 15-minute hold-up. Otherwise, heading towards Sunny Hill as well as Woodmead, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N3 North between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. That's due to the long-term roadworks that are taking place right after Marlborough Drive. If you were heading towards Midrand, please try using the R21 North or sticking onto the N1 North through areas like Randbeck as well as Sunny Hill. Traveling in the city of Tshwane, things are looking really good this morning, but we do have a slight backup reported on the R80 East approaching Eskiampahlele exit, and that's due to peak time delays there. While traveling within the inner city areas, Grondkloof, we've got faulty traffic lights reported at Christian de Wet Road and Euphius Road, but don't you worry because there's pointsmen on duty to help you navigate this traffic. We'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Great entrance? Forget that. Make a grand entrance.
Grand!
Be late, make everyone wait, and be grateful they did. Peeps be rubbernecking, staring gormlessly like deer in your 50,000 intelligent LED headlights.
Grand!
Make a grand entrance in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Achtung, baby.
Grand!
It's even got massage seats.
Grand!
Visit opel.co.za for more.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, please tell me what's the question. If the answer is a proud people, let's try Spusiso in Middelburg. Spusiso, what's the question?
What is the name of the single album which was dropped by Jay-Z and Beyonce in 2002?
No, that's Bonnie and Clyde. This is a Bonnie and Clyde, not quite the one we were looking for there. Let's try Mduduzi in Pretoria. Mduduzi, what's the question?
The question is, what is the name of the song by Vusi Mahlasela from the album Miela Africa that Amo Ramela was looking for?
Yes, indeed. Oh, man, I love it when people listen closely. Mduduzi, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
I am a member of Outsurance.
Awa thing. Mduduzi, 2,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance and 702.
Thank you very much.
And maybe even Amo, hey? We're talking, of course, about what's going right in the country. There's a lot going wrong. What do you think is going right? Amo was just excited to find the song that she'd seen on social media. Was it, Amo?
I saw it being performed at Joy of Jazz with Vusi Mahlasela and Billy Munama. They went right into the song. They didn't introduce it. And I fell in love with it. I had to find it.
It's a purely instrumental one, right?
Yeah.
We are a proud people.
We are indeed.
We are a proud people. We can fight back against corruption, all the rot and all the wrong. I mean, we can make music like this.
Spend 10 minutes trying to fix the office printer or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For her 2025 Hyundai Exter, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month. And for her 2024 Haval H6 4x4, 50-year-old Priya pays just 1,178 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Stamina Grow is a 5-in-1 supplement with amino acids, antioxidants, B vitamins, and other essential vitamins and minerals that help promote energy, well-being, immune defense, and mental vitality. Stamina Grow, 22 years of supporting Mzansi, ranked amongst the top 5 best-performing multivitamin brands in South Africa. Stamina Grow, grow for it.
This is the story of our Nando's Flame Grilled Chicken, marinated for 24 hours in our unique peri-peri recipe. Kissed by fire, full of flavor, perfectly grilled. And like any story, this story of our full peri-peri chicken has 2 sides. Yours to choose, yours to share. Enjoy the Nando's full and 2 sharing meal. That's our full chicken and 2 sharing sides of your choice for only 277 Rand.
Get ready, Mzansi! Powerball has rolled over to a jaw-dropping 130 million Rand guaranteed jackpot this Friday. Wanala Wasana. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 130 million Rand jackpot today. And you could hit it lucky with the big millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, Sunphone banking, or simply dial *120*7529# with USSD. Handa, Usha, play! Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
702
What's gone viral?
with Kabazela.
Time now for the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Belle.
Is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah, so this story is a couple of skateboarders are doing their thing out on the pavements, and he came off his skateboard and went over his ankle, and he's sitting there on the side of the pavement with his buddy, and they're looking at this ankle, and it is swollen. It looks really, really horrid. And then, they're looking around and they're thinking, I wish there was a doctor. I'd ask the doctor what the problem would be. Then they see this guy walking towards them, and they say, well, let's just ask this guy. Maybe he's a doctor. Now, I thought maybe this is staged, but if you look at the doctor's response, it's not. So this guy approaches them, and then they call him and they say, hey, look at this. What do you think? Blah, 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 blah. And then the doctor, who turns out to be an orthopedic surgeon, gives them this advice.
I bet I would just do ice, do a lot of Advil. It may just be just a bad sprain. If it was broken, I don't think you'd be walking. That'd be the reason to get the x-ray. See what happens if it's still bad, like on Monday. Then
If
maybe
it's still
so.
bad, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just say make some money.
Thank you.
Nothing wrong with a bit of free doctor advice, eh? But I wanted to ask the question now this morning. Have you had a doctor, specialist like this orthopedic surgeon, attend to you in a public place because you have happened to injure yourself? Now, I was out mountain biking. I took mountain biking up after I got divorced. I was a novice at the sport. I went riding down the Spruit, and I went over the handlebars and landed on a rock on my elbow, and I almost passed out lying there in the water. And my mate was like over me, and he's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm in pain. Then this guy comes and says, let me through. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. And he looks at my elbow and he's like, it's just dislocated. Let me put it back in for you. And I'm lying there in pain in the water. And I said, okay, go for it. He tries one jerk. And I said to him, okay, you try again. I'm going to get up and I'm going to kill you. Just leave me alone, please. Anyway, long story short, I had to have a radial head replacement. The whole bone was shattered. I don't know what kind of orthopedic surgeon he was, thinking it was dislocated, but he came to my aid, not much aid. Ended up, long story short, operation, all that kind of stuff. But at least he was there, and maybe it gave me a little bit of comfort. So your stories of doctors in a public place attending to you, perhaps.
Did you sing Ain't No Mountain High Enough? Kabazela. Ain't no river wide enough.
Yeah.
Have you been in a medical emergency or some kind of situation that needed a doctor? You're in a public place and somebody came through for you. And of course, if you are a doctor, I'd love to hear your stories where you were just going about your business, minding your own business, and your help was needed. Tell us of those situations where you perhaps even saved a life. That's what's gone viral with Kabazela.
702 Feedback
with Rupfiwa Kone.
Rupfiwa Kone, we're talking about so much that is going wrong in the country.
Yeah.
You are, of course, one of our ace producers putting the team together. We debate so much about what stories to tell. And what listeners perhaps don't always know is that there are times we feel, hi, that's just too much. Right? Haven't we had those debates?
Yeah, we have.
Where we think, do we really want to go? That's just so negative.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that's going wrong in the country, what for you is going right?
Bongani, so much. Personally, a lot of things are going right. In my family, my children are healthy, my family is healthy, everybody's fine. The community I live in, they sort of band together in reporting potholes and fixing power outages and making sure that we hold our leaders accountable, and we all just come together.
You guys have a WhatsApp group?
Yes, we do, and it's very active, extremely active, Bongani. I'm not going to say where
Isn't
because
that
they
what
might
it's
start
about?
bothering.
Yeah. Isn't that what it's
But
about,
we band
right?
together and we fix the problems within the community together. So I think that's going well in my community.
That's what's going right in your community. That's absolutely fantastic to hear. What are 702 Landers saying?
702 Landers are saying we should actually appreciate the sportsmen and women of this country.
Right.
I mean, this year they've been doing the most.
Bafana,
the
Springboks, now the Proteas women, Proteas men.
You know, Proteas men,
Yeah.
Bongani, all the athletes, 100
Bosimbine,
meter, Bosimbine, they did us really proud this year. Tyler, ne?
Yeah,
Tyler,
the performer.
Yes.
Yeah.
She also did as well. She came home with an award recently, having the whole world dancing to our dance moves. Guys across
piano,
I
right?
mean, there is a lot to be grateful for in our country. And if we continue in committing to this accountability, this
Yeah.
This train we are on right now, we might win at the end.
Look, it's very important for all of us to point the finger at ourselves because it starts with us. And that example that I used earlier, where we even warn each other about where the cops might be, that should tell you, until we get to the point where it is socially unacceptable to bribe, to drive under the influence, to even try and get away, right? Until those things are unacceptable, we will not see much change. But we also need the political will to get those that do get caught behind bars. It's 8 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Shadrack Sibiya vows to defend his reputation after his home was raided, and Burkina Faso says it will not take in any people who have been kicked out of America. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulum. Gauteng top cop Shadrack Sibiya says he will not be drawn into the public to comment on allegations of whether he is linked to criminal cartels, but would rather answer questions in a formal sitting. Sibiya is expected before Parliament's ad hoc committee next week. He will also testify at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Both bodies are probing allegations of criminal and political interference within SAPS. A task team raided Sibiya's Centurion home yesterday, where they took cell phones and a laptop as part of an ongoing investigation into criminal syndicates in the province. Oren Singh reports.
Allegations against Shadrack Sibiya have been made public by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi and Crime Intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo. However, evidence linking Sibiya to suspected cartels in the province have not yet been made public. Yesterday, Sibiya would neither confirm nor deny links to organized criminal syndicates when questioned by the media. He claims he is waiting to provide evidence to both Parliament and the Madlanga Commission.
My job is to investigate criminals. It is my space. I'm not a priest. I don't deal with Christians. I'm not a school principal. I'm a policeman. I'm a policeman and I've investigated organized crime for many years. I'm almost 37 years in the field of what I'm doing.
Sibiya will appear before Parliament's ad hoc committee on Monday. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola has told Parliament's ad hoc committee probing police corruption that there have been deliberate attempts by politicians and the media to discredit him. Masemola has warned against running unverified information and spreading what he calls falsehoods to cast aspersions on his professional integrity. He was giving testimony yesterday in the parliamentary hearings where he illustrated how rogue elements in the police are able to spread disinformation using media and politicians. Babalondenza reports.
Fani Masemola says it's also been a target where some rogue elements use various means to destabilize the police. He says an example is how information was used to discredit him, either through the media or through politicians. Masemola says this followed reports that he was facing imminent arrest by the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption earlier this year.
Honorable members, I say that there is a deliberate effort by certain politicians to discredit me and cast doubt on my integrity.
He says the media is also responsible.
Around May, June 2025, stories began to appear in the media that the IDEC was about to arrest me and that warrant of arrest has been issued, and even reported that I was in my office and I was shivering with fear.
Masemola says he never faced arrest, and this was also dismissed by IDEC. He says he believes in media freedom, but will continue engaging industry bodies like the South African National Editors Forum. Babalondense, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Government has expressed support for the recent wave of police raids targeting individuals accused of corruption, saying they form part of the mandate of law enforcement agencies. Yesterday, police raided the home of suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya. At the same time, the Special Investigating Unit raided a lavish Sandton mansion of businessman Hangwani Maumela, where they seized 3 Lamborghini vehicles. Maumela has been linked to tender corruption at the Tembisa Hospital, which was first uncovered by slain whistleblower Babita Diokaran. Government spokesperson William Baloyi says law enforcement authorities must be given space to perform their duties.
These operations fall within the normal scope of their mandate to investigate matters and recover assets. The public is reminded that such activities are standard and essential part of government's fight against corruption, ensuring accountability and upholding the rule of law.
And Burkina Faso has refused to take in people kicked out of the United States in a snub to one of President Donald Trump's signature migration policies. Since Trump's return to the White House, his administration has made deporting people to third countries, often to nations they have no connections to, part of a sweeping immigration crackdown. In Africa, Eswatini, Ghana, Rwanda and South Sudan have all accepted people expelled from the U.S. in recent months. Burkina Faso's Foreign Affairs Minister says that the West African country has refused Washington's move. Hours earlier, the U.S. Embassy in the capital, Ouagadougou, announced the suspension of regular services for most visas for people living in Burkina Faso. Gold is trading at $3,966.27 an ounce. The rand is at 17.20 to the dollar, 22.88 to the pound, 19.99 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.16 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got roadworks on the M1 South causing delays between the Baklu interchange and Corlett Drive. While traveling in Randburg, we've got an accident reported on the N1 North. It happened after Malibongwe Drive is causing delays. Please be on the lookout there.
And in your sport, Bafana 2 games away from qualifying for next year's World Cup. They kick off against Zimbabwe at 6 p.m. Proteas women held their nerve to pull off a 3-wicket win over India at the World Cup. De Klerk unbeaten on 84. And in the URC, all 4 South African sides are on the road this weekend, starting tonight with Stormers and Scarlets.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with afternoon showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 26 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, Gauteng top cop Shadrack Sibia says he will not be drawn into the public to comment on allegations of whether he's linked to criminal cartels, but he will rather answer questions in a formal sitting.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Seven minutes after 8 o'clock, we're taking your calls on 011-883-0702. With all that's going wrong in the country, what's going right in your life? What's going right in your community, in your world? And if you look around the country, what are the things that are going right? Because I think sometimes good news obviously always gets more attention. I mean, bad news, I beg your pardon. Bad news easily gets the attention, right? 900 million rand Maumela syndicate assets seized. The SIU Titans Group on Hangwani Maumela. Those are the things that get our attention. But what about those things that are going right? It could be as mundane as something going right in your home, on your street, in your neighborhood. It could be as mundane as all the burst pipes are fixed. Could be something as silly as you saw a pipe burst, you called Joburg Water, and within the hour they were there and they fixed it. What's going right? Because I think sometimes when we focus on all the news-making headlines for the wrong reasons, we don't feel that there's something to fight for. We don't feel that there's something to defend from those who would destroy our kids' future. But if we start focusing perhaps a little more on what's going right, we then think, hang on a minute, this is worth fighting for. This is worth fighting for. This is worth fighting for.
The one positive thing that we have as a country is how we're just able to maintain a good sense of humor. You know, you go to these short clips on X, YouTube, TikTok, and just go to this comment section and you will just have the laugh of your life. Yeah, so I think that's the positive thing. We're able to maintain a good sense of humor, and I think it's a coping mechanism at this point. So that's what I think is positive in our country right now. Now I hear from Sunny Hill.
One time I was driving past Fountains Valley and this lady was stuck on the side of the road. When I stopped at the robot, I had the taxi driver saying that if he had a rope, he would tow the lady out of the area and then tow her at least to a safer area where she can then wait for help for roadside assistance. And then I remember that I had a rope and a hook in my boot. I crossed the robot, got the hook and the rope, and then gave it to them. Because the taxi driver was involved, I thought I'm not going to get my rope back. So I had made peace with that. If this taxi driver is going to assist this lady, then he can take the rope if he's not going to bring it back. I told him where I work. To my surprise, the taxi driver brought back the rope and then says, no, I even managed to tow the lady to a VW workshop.
Well, sounds like the right kind of taxi driver. Can I tell you, for all the reasons we get annoyed by taxi drivers, they're often the people that stop, hey?
They're more likely to help.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're often the people that stop. They're often the people that if you just wave, because maybe you made the wrong turn or you didn't realize you needed to make a turn, if you just wave, they'll allow you to cut in peacefully without any trouble for all the things we point out that are wrong about what they do.
You're with Bongani Bingwa on 702.
Taking your calls on 011-883-0702.
Kabazela wants to know, have you been in a medical situation that needed a doctor and one came through for you? Andre, you're in Edenvale. Tell us your story. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Bongani.
Go ahead, Andre.
Yeah, well, look, mine was, it was late a Friday evening on my way home and driving through the burbs. A lady jumped in front of the car and screaming, asked for some assistance because her sister was about to give birth. And she just wanted somebody to take her to, to the clinic or the nearest hospital, and which was Hillbrow Hospital. This is out in Kensington, Bertram's.
Yeah.
So I rushed into the house, and when I got there, I saw already the head protruding. So I got it. So I made a couple calls, phoned the ambulance services, phoned the fire brigades, and they gave me the runaround. Couldn't get anybody telling me when exactly somebody would be dispatched to come out. So I laid on the floor, and I assisted with the birth basically. We waited for about an hour and a half after the baby was born, and I decided to cut the umbilical cord. But continually making calls to the ambulance services and the fire brigades. The fire brigade finally arrived about just past 2 hours after the initial calls that I made.
Yeah.
And they hauled me over the coals simply because I cut the umbilical cord. And I thought, well, isn't this the best thing to do, just to get mummy and baby together, and covered them in a blanket, and that's how I left them.
Goodness me. And Andre, do you have any medical training, any first aid or emergency training, anything of that sort?
No, just the usual that companies normally do, just to train you first aid in case somebody chokes on something or but basic stuff. No, other than that, absolutely nothing.
Listen, you're a brave man, Andre. Hey.
Yeah, the baby's second name happens to be Andrew, not Andre, but they gave the baby's second name Andrew because of that.
Of course they would. Of course they would. Well, that's a fact. You've made my day. You have absolutely made my, because that's what it's about, right? It's the idea that we're in it together. Something's wrong. We put our hands up. We're there for each other. We have each other's back. And we're just going through this thing together. Andre, you are absolutely the caller of the day. You've made how beautiful is that story?
Amazing.
Great stuff, Andre. Appreciate that call. Good luck to you, mate.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday indeed. Good luck to you. What a fantastic, isn't that what it's about? That's what being South African in my head is all about. That we just show up for each other and we're there through this journey called life.
Bongani, morning. Yeah, I had a fall in a park run. It was actually a very bad fall. This park run was quite hilly. But yeah, in any case, there was a doctor. He actually helped nurse the knee and fix up the bleeding, and yeah, even told me where surgery is and to pop past the Monday, and she'll assist me, and then yeah, we can take it on from there. So yeah, I was grateful. Yeah, I'm into recovery, and yeah, the legs kind of good.
EWN Traffic.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. It's 8:15. This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Now I'm told there's a car on fire. Where is this? In Sandton, where?
It is in Sandton indeed, Bongani. It's right near the Discovery building. It's on Rivonia Road. And you can actually, I've seen visuals of the car that's on fire. Hopefully the driver is off.
Is it a little fire, or is the whole car engulfed?
Yeah, the car is engulfed. It's it's burning.
Wow.
Yeah, so please be on the lookout if you're traveling along Rivonia Road as well as Catherine Street. Try to avoid the scene as much as you can. It's causing about a 10-minute hold-up around this vicinity. If you're traveling on the M1 South, we've got some delays between Greyston Drive and Collar Drive. Roadworks are taking place there, about a 10-minute hold-up towards Melrose as well as Parktown, while heading towards Sunny Hill as well as Woodmead. Bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N3 North due to those roadworks that are taking place between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange, about a 10-minute hold-up. If you are heading towards Midrand or the city of Tshwane, please try using the R21 North as well as the N1 North through areas like Randbeck as well as Fourways. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a couple stealing glances at each other. In a week, their lives will change forever as they exchange their I-do's. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a love story on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
17 after 8. This G20 correspondence desk on 702 is proudly brought to you by RMB and FNB divisions of First Rand Bank Limited. South Africa's G20 presidency this year, of course, will mark a pivotal moment for the continent. Since 1999, we've been the only African country in the G20, uniquely positioned, therefore, to put a spotlight on Africa's priorities on the global stage. And First Rand, through its divisions RMB and FNB, are a platinum sponsor of South Africa's G20 presidency. And a key focus area is trade and investment, with First Rand CEO Mary Vilakazi serving as co-chairperson of the B20 task force. And this presidency provides South Africa with the opportunity to attract foreign direct investment, benefiting both the country and the continent as a whole. And so in that build-up, we've been talking every week to EWN's Nokhanya Mdambo on 702. Nokhanya, I understand today you are talking to us in Gqeberha, in the Eastern Cape, for the trade and investment ministerial meetings. I mean, it's a good step. It's a good spot, rather, as far as trade talks are concerned, because, of course, that's right on the doorstep of one of our major ports. Good morning. All right, I don't know if, Nokhanya, you are not on mute. Maybe you've muted yourself. Unmute. There we go. Do we have you? All right, that connection obviously not helping us. I tell you what we'll do. We'll get Nokhanya on the phone. Nokhanya, are you there? Nope, not on the phone either. Clearly there's a connection problem there. Perhaps let's do this. Let's take a quick ad break and we'll come back to Nokhanya. Oh, we've got her back on Zoom, you say, KG. All right, Nokhanya, are you there?
I certainly am. Good morning, Bongani, to you and the listeners.
Okay, press the unmute button next time, hey? I'm saying you're in Gqeberha, which of course is a great place to be as far as any conversation about trade and investment, because of course it's right on the doorstep of one of our major ports.
Yeah, Bongani, I was actually telling a friend just as I was flying into the Chief David Airport at the start of the week that the port of Gqeberha is one of the last things you see just as you fly in, and it's a spectacular sight. And from far, it looks very simplistic. You know, that aerial view makes it look so simple, but once you get close to it and you get a sense of how it actually works and what actually keeps it running, you'll actually be amazed at what it takes. It really is like watching the economy at work, Bongani.
South African ports, though, are still in a bit of trouble.
They are. If you remember about 2-3 weeks ago, we had this conversation when the World Bank had released a report about how some of the world's ports are faring. A lot of South Africa's ports actually ranked right at the bottom. In the Eastern Cape, we have 3, the East London one, the Gqeberha one, which we're at, and then the one in Mukha. And I guess the previous expansion and the investment around these hubs has proven beneficial in the past. And part of the conversations, I think, today is also trying to work around how those sort of investments and those expansions can, get away around those sort of dysfunctions and making sure that you're not risking losing business to the likes of Namibia and Mozambique and those ports. And it's not for a lack of policy, Bongani, or a lack of ideas on sort of interventions that are needed. It's really the implementation now that's needed. We have things like Operation Vulindlela, the private sector participation, and a recent investment by Transnet, again, something that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago into these ports. All of these meant to boost access. And I guess once those are starting to click into place, we'll start to see the performance at these ports getting a little better.
I wish all of these things could be sped up quite significantly, because I think we've identified these issues as well as you've just described them, but it's just taking too long to get them right. So what other conversations might we expect today?
Port efficiency, Bongani, is actually definitely one of the big talking points. And then generally infrastructure, your roads, your rail, all important for trade. And then again, going back to the conversations about diversifying export markets and then discussing reforms in terms of the trade institutions, especially the likes of the World Trade Organization, so that it's able to, to respond a little better to some of the contemporary challenges that we have when it comes to trade. So I think those are the big talking points that we're expecting to see today.
Any updates on South Africa's revised proposal to the US? Because, of course, trade is all about our relationship with Washington. That's a key factor.
Mum's been the word, Bongani, for the past couple of weeks. We have been trying to get an update from Trade and Industry Minister Parkstar over the past couple of weeks. Nothing just yet. So, I'm pretty sure he knows today when we engage with him after the meeting that it's going to be a very big question. So we are hoping to find out from him later today what it is, where we stand with that. AGOA expired at the end of September. So the conversations that he's been having with his trade counterparts in the US as part of this broader conversation that's being had here, I think we'll start to get a sense today about where we stand with that.
Oh, I appreciate your time, Nokanya Mtamo, coming to us from Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape, giving us this morning's G20 Correspondence Desk. Hosted in Africa for the first time, this year's summit focuses on solidarity, equality and sustainability. And the idea, of course, is to bring you all the news and insights from the summit. And we do this every Friday ahead of that actual gathering. And it's all guided by the spirit of Ubuntu. RMB and FNB empower communities committed to a sustainable future. RMB and FNB are divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702, The World View with Adam Gilchrist.
Catch up with news from elsewhere in the world now. Adam, a very good morning to you. Let's start with the Gaza peace plan. We should be talking about a ceasefire. Where are we now and what comes next?
Doesn't look like there's a ceasefire because eyewitnesses have talked about bombing in Khan Yunis in the south of Gaza overnight. And an apartment building being hit. It doesn't look like the Israeli military is getting a couple of punches in quick before they have to down tools and withdraw. So at this stage, all those key points of the peace plan have not taken effect at all. No withdrawal yet, no ceasefire yet. At least no release of prisoners, of course, and also no aid lorries. They are poised, hundreds of them, to go into Gaza. It's meant to be 400 a day to start with and then boost the numbers because there are still people starving to death in Gaza. So it hasn't happened yet. It's a bit like perhaps celebrating a goal in this day and age. You know, you have to wait for the VAR check, don't you, to make sure that it was a goal. So was this a 20-point peace plan, the first phase, as it was called? Is it going to stick? Remember, Joe Biden did actually have a peace plan and a ceasefire that began in January, but petered out pretty quickly. Let's hope it doesn't happen with this, because there's a lot riding on it, isn't there?
Hope springs eternal. Adam, talk to me. A prank rather, gone quite awry.
Yes, in the US state of Kentucky, there seems to be a thing about Halloween displays this year. Stephen Markham has been charged, having been arrested, with terroristic threatening, which sounds like a very American kind of charge, but at least we know what it means. Terroristic threatening, because in his front yard are a bunch of body bags labeled with the titles of local government officials. So one of them, for instance, is hanging from a noose, which will be a little bit spooky for some people who walk past it. And words like district judge and mayor are on the labels that are hanging around their necks. Difficult to explain to a lot of people. So this guy has been arrested and in hot water. There was another Halloween display in Houston in Texas, again, falling foul of the law because there were hanging mannequins wearing MAGA hats under a Mexican flag with a decidedly anti-immigration and customs enforcement message. And in South Carolina, a couple got into trouble with the local law enforcement because they turned their house into a sort of Amityville horror. So smoke and lights and a decidedly overly spooky theme. And they again were told to rip it all down. 3 of them, just like that. And we're nowhere near Halloween, are we?
Talk to me about meaty veg. That sounds like a bit of a contradiction in terms.
Precisely that. And no longer in the European Union can you therefore use words like burger or steak to describe a plant-based variant. You can't have a veggie burger in the EU. Livestock farmers basically were campaigning. The European Parliament has agreed. The labels, they say, have threatened the industry of those who produce meat, and there's, nobody has any sense of ire like a French farmer. Anyway, the argument is that marketing and labeling should be clearer, and we'll probably all hold our hand up to that and say, yeah, absolutely, clearer labels would be a good thing. But a sausage, burger, or escalope has to be an animal, is their ruling. Egg yolks and egg whites have to be from actual eggs. And dairy must be, quote, normal mammary secretion, which is enough to put you off your morning cereal. Oat milk, by the way, in the EU, in the UK, it's oat milk, but in the EU, it's oat drink. There again, as Anna Cavazzini from Germany's Green Party put it, while the world is burning, the EU's got nothing better to do than debate about sausages and schnitzel. She also has a point, doesn't she?
But also, I mean, I don't see how, if I'm looking for a veggie burger, I already know what I want. That surely isn't going to affect the beef industry, for example, or the meat industry at large, but perhaps they're giving us more reasons to look for those veggie burgers, Adam. We'll leave it there for this morning, this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
28 after 8, our final business update for the morning. The Reserve Bank telling Parliament, Mateo, that the lower inflation target will make the country more competitive.
Yeah, the South African Reserve Bank expects the economy to grow by 2% or higher by 2027. Governor Lesetja Kganyago says improved investment levels in the country could fast-track growth. The central bank leader says the lower inflation environment is starting to bear some green shoots for the economy. The SARB is now focusing on a 3% inflation target, saying prices would only double every 24 years if inflation averaged at around 3% or lower.
But they are at least admitting that perhaps that whole announcement around that target could have been handled a little more.
They could have found each other better.
Right? All right, let's talk property in terms of growth. Prices now starting to shoot up.
Yeah, the housing market is seeing a jump in property prices. The National Residential Property Price Inflation data from Stats SA shows that prices were up 6.1% in May. The residential index increased by 0.5% month on month. The main contributors to the 6.1% annual national property price inflation rate were the Western Cape, with a property price increase of 9.4%, and Gauteng, which saw prices rise by 3%. Prices for sectional title properties in Cape Town increased by as much as 10.5% over the past year. Now, all metropolitan areas increased by 5.1% between May of 2024 and May of 2025. The residential property prices for properties sold for the first time also increasing. So at a time where we're seeing lower interest rates and we're looking to buy more properties, they cost higher.
All right, where is the rand?
17 Rand 19 cents against the US dollar, in a better position this morning. 19 Rand 88 cents against the euro, and at 22 Rand 86 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $3,971 an ounce, or platinum, is now down 3% at $1,595. Brent crude at $64.88 a barrel. Stephen Grotes with the wrap of the week in business later this afternoon.
At exactly 8:30, let's go straight to the Eyewitness News desk. Good morning, Sfisa Zulu.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. The Social Development Department has defended the 3 million rand it spent on travel for 6 officials and a civil society representative to attend the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women in New York in March. Director General Peter Neshipale says the rand-dollar exchange rates and the late bookings contributed to the exorbitant costs of the travel. The department was called to Parliament's Portfolio Committee yesterday to explain the expenditure. Lindsay Dentlinga was there.
Director General Peter Neshipale delivered a detailed explanation to the committee about the benefits of the annual event. The department spent R1 million on flight tickets and a further 1.3 million rand for accommodation. Neshipale says in future the size of the delegation will be reduced.
And I think it's a lesson for us to say how do we move to the next level in terms of ensuring that we spend accordingly.
Meanwhile, Minister Sisisi Tolashe dismissed suggestions by the department's spokesperson Lumka Oliphant that she was suspended for alerting media to the trip costs.
Ms. Oliphant's precautionary suspension follows the report of the Auditor General of South Africa, which flagged some serious irregularities.
Committee Chairperson Bridget Masango says while the committee does not dispute the value the department gleans from attending the annual event, steps needed to be taken to reduce costs in future. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Police Minister Senzo Mchunu's Chief of Staff says he used to arrange meetings between the minister and controversial businessman Brown Mokhotsi. However, there was nothing untoward about their relationship. Cedric Nkabinde held a briefing in Sandton yesterday where he responded to some of the allegations against him. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi recently told Parliament Nkabinde gave him Mokhotsi's phone number. Mokhotsi has links to suspended criminal boss Vusi Kat Matlala and is alleged to have unduly influenced Mchunu to disband the SAPS Political Killings Task Team. Nkabinde says he knows Mokhotsi. However, he will respond to the allegations properly when he appears before the Madlanga Commission or Parliament.
I don't have any relationship. Brown Mokhotsi is one of the guests, like any other guest, come and visit the minister. And as the person who's responsible arranging those meetings, then I know him. He arranged those meetings through me.
Employment and Labour Deputy Minister Jomosi Bia says the department will intensify inspections across Gauteng as government moves to tighten the enforcement laws and root out the illegal employment of foreign nationals. Speaking during an inspection at a steel manufacturing company in Turfontein in the south of Joburg yesterday, Sibia said the province, as the country's economic hub, will be a major focus area in the department's ongoing compliance drive. He said that the operation conducted yesterday was a success, adding that it revealed that the company was largely compliant. Gaps remained in areas including occupational health and safety and UIF contributions. Thando Lutengcobo reports.
Employment and Labour Department Deputy Minister Jomosi Bia says the department's role is not only to inspect workplaces and enforce compliance, but to also guide and assist companies in meeting the required labour standards. He says the focus will remain in Gauteng for now, as it's the centre of the country's economy.
I must say to South Africans, you know this is not a once-off.
Sibia also added that government is determined to ensure that available jobs are prioritised to South Africans than undocumented foreign nationals.
We want South Africans to be prioritized. Our people want to work. We don't have jobs.
He said the department will continue to collaborate with other government agencies to ensure that all workplaces are fully compliant and that South Africans are protected in the labour market. Tandul Shenglobo, Eyewitness News.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with afternoon showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 26 and 27.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in Tembisa. This one is along the R21 South. It happened after Olifantsfontein Road. It's causing delays. Please be on the lookout. There about a 15-minute hold up there. While traveling on the N3 North bumper-to-bumper traffic between Marlborough Drive and the Baklu interchange due to roadworks.
The top story this hour, the Social Development Department has defended the 3 million rand it spent on travel for 6 officials and a civil society representative to New York.
Hollywood Bet Aziz Shege Beyond the Game is back for the new soccer season. Up for grabs is a share of 4 million rand in prizes, including the Toyota Rumion, Corolla Cross, Hilux 2.4 GD6 DC, and a Starlet Cross. To qualify, bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture or fixtures for your chance to score big. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Huawei Watch GT6 Series, 2025's must-have smartwatch. Introducing the King of Power. Up to 21 days of unstoppable battery life in a sleek titanium and ceramic design that's as strong as it's stylish. The Trackmaster with 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep monitoring, advanced health management, and the world's first cycling virtual power feature. Fully compatible with both iOS and Android. Get yours now from just 169 Rand a month over 36 months or 4,999 Rand at selected retailers. T's and C's apply.
702 and corporates that care with Investec are talking about Investec's flagship education initiative, ProMaths, in partnership with Kutlwanong Maths, Science and Technology Center.
Started 20 years ago in Dobsonville on a pilot program with 105 pupils. Fast forward to 2025, 28,000 learners have been through the program, and we believe that the impact that this has had has been something beyond numbers, something beyond science. It's about people, purpose, and hope. And I think the ability to partner with Kutlwanong to look at how you could build something that could be replicated. So starting with one school in Dobson 20 years ago, now having 19 of these centres operating across South Africa, 10 which are sponsored by Investec and 9 by other sponsors.
Visit mywalk.org.za to learn more. Investec, out of the ordinary. On 702, let's walk the talk.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongani. In relation to your question of what's going right, what's going right is that on the 10th of the 10th, 2015, I married my beautiful wife. And 10 years later, on the 10th of the 10th, 2025, my marriage is going right.
Hi, Bongani. Something going on and very well for me as a Tshwane resident is Nasipi Moya. Give the lady her flowers. Nasipi, you are going right. You are doing it right for Tshwane residents. Mandu here from Tshwane. Thank you.
Bongani, morning 702 listeners. Bongani, what's satisfying about this country is SIU loading Lamborghinis in trucks. I love it. You know, these criminals, Bongani, I don't think they mind appearing in court. But if you hit them where their spoils went with their assets, I love it.
Morning, Mr. Bongani. I think what's going really perfect in the country is the property tax billing services. They never miss. They never miss.
I don't know if that's tongue-in-cheek or even sarcastic, the property tax billing services. That's what's going right for you. The SIU and the Lambos. I said to Stephen Grotes a little earlier on, whilst of course we'd all prefer that wrongdoers ultimately end up behind bars and serve time for their ill-gotten gains, it is equally as satisfying for me to take away the very things they got into this corruption for. In other words, we've got to make it something that just isn't worth doing, right? That even if you don't necessarily spend time in jail, that's always first prize. But the fact that the very thing you think you will acquire through illicit means gets taken away from you, because then what's the point? Why would you commit crimes? Why would you be corrupt if you know you're going to lose whatever it is you get in the first instance? So I think that is absolutely something many South Africans will cheer. Mando is happy with the Action SA mayor in the city of Tshwane. 10 years ago, they got married, and 10 years ago, everything is still going right. Love those. Keep them coming. With all that's wrong in the country, what's going right in your life?
EWN Sport.
I tell you what, we could point to the South African Football Association and what they've done wrong, but we could also look at the glass as half full and talk about what Bafana Bafana have done right this year, Cindy Paluta.
Absolutely, and I'm sure, no doubt, Safa more than anybody are busy praying and speaking to whoever needs to be spoken to say
in tongues and everything else.
Because if, let's say, we face the worst possible case scenario, which is we lose both games, and then because we got docked 3 points for fielding an eligible player, and it doesn't qualify for the World Cup, all fingers will point at Safa, and heads will have to roll, because now the players. It can't be the players' fault, right? But yes, I do believe that Bafana Bafana will qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup next year. They're 2 games away from doing it. Tonight they take on Zimbabwe in Durban. Captain Ronwen Williams.
We've got 2 important games. We know how tough it's going to be. They're not going to make it easy for us, and we don't expect them to. So if you had to see the way training was this week, you can see that the boys mean business, and they know how important it is for us to qualify.
Last night, Algeria beat Somalia 3-0 to book their spot of the World Cup, the 4th African side alongside Morocco, Tunisia and Egypt. Proteas all-rounder Nadine de Klerk was the hero of the night, smashing an unbeaten 84 from 54 to take South Africa to a 3-wicket win over India at the Women's Cricket World Cup. Chloe Tryon made 49 and also took 3 wickets. Proteas women are up to 4th on the table now with England and India, but with a lower net run rate. Here's de Klerk.
When me and Chloe were batting together, we just said we wanted to take it deep, and we felt like if the two of us were still batting in the back end, we backed ourselves to get 10 runs and over in that last 4 or 5 overs. So yeah, it was just about being really positive, taking the smart option, I guess, and yeah, I'd still try and put their bowlers under pressure.
Later today, New Zealand go in search of their first win as they play Bangladesh. The Proteas men play Pakistan in the first test that starts on Sunday. While live on the go, India elected to bat against the West Indies. It's day 1 of the second test. India a short while ago at lunch, 94 for 1. Stormers are boosted by the return of their Springboks, Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu, and Damian Willems for tonight's United Rugby Championship match with Scarlets. Coach John Dobson.
Look, they were in the UK anyway. We were coming here. They wanted to. We had a couple of Zooms with them over the last few weeks to work out their program for the season, because I think we always want to, obviously there's mandatory rest, but we always want to exceed that. We want them to be fresh and happy. They genuinely wanted to stay on and play, so I'm also going to say no to that.
Tomorrow afternoon, the Lions at Bennett and the Sharks are defending champions Leinster and the Bulls up against Ulster. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
17 minutes before 9 o'clock, let's get the final traffic update for breakfast this morning. Amo, what are you seeing? That car on fire? Has that been sorted?
Yeah, in the Sandton area, Bongani, it looks like it's been sorted because I'm not seeing it right now on my hot map. But if you are traveling along Rivonia Road, please be patient if there is still delays along this route. While traveling on the M1 South, we've got a slight backup really towards Grayston Drive, peak time pressure there, and heading towards Woodmead as well as Sunning Hill. We've got Rose Roadworks taking place along the N3 North, delays between Marlborough Drive and the Buccleuch interchange. Then if you're heading towards Kempton Park, please try to avoid the R21 South. There's been an accident today. It happened right after Olifantsfontein Road. It's causing about a 20-minute hold-up. So if you're heading towards the OR Tambo Airport at this particular moment, your trip will be delayed by an extra 20 minutes. So please be patient along this route. I'll have your next traffic update at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Get ready, Mzansi. Powerball has rolled over to a jaw-dropping 130 million rand guaranteed jackpot this Friday. Walala wasana. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 130 million rand jackpot today. And you could hit it lucky with the big millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# with USSD. Hi, Usha, play. Players must be 18 years old and play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Oh, dreamers. They love to watch the dice roll, chasing that rush, that one big win. But then there's a different kind of player. Those who rely on strategy and not chance, who know that winning is earned. Those people play with SportPesa. SportPesa, make it count. SportPesa is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No person under the age of 18 permitted to gamble. National Responsible Gambling Program toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 650 710. Winners know when to stop.
People are talking, everybody's talking, and they're saying it's time to make insurance great again. They said our low premiums were fake news. Wrong. We're putting customers first. We're gonna drain the insurance swamp. It's full of hidden fees. But when we clean it up, believe me, it's gonna be huge.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision people are saying ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like her insurance.
In a world shaped by those who build, disrupt, and reimagine, there comes a gathering not just of minds, but of futures. The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank, is where top entrepreneurs, innovators, and change makers converge. It's where the future of enterprise is redefined. On 5 and 6 November, you could be there. Stand a chance to win tickets to the South African Future Trust Summit on 702. WhatsApp the keyword SAFT with your name and ID number, telling us how you would benefit from attending the summit to 072-702-1702. Then catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa and 702 Drive with John Pullman to find out if you're a winner. The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank. Your summit, your way, on 702. TCs and more on primemediaplus.com.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Clement, of course, coming to us from our Cape Talk studios this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's on the show this morning?
Coming up on the show on the 702 open line, take your pick. So much happening, and I'll play some clips of some of the key events that happened yesterday, and I want the listeners' thoughts on that. But we are going to look at the founders of startup companies between 10 and 11 o'clock. Those are the people that I'm going to be hosting on our Across the Desk feature. They share their entrepreneurial journeys with us. And then at 11 o'clock, we do our relationship and sex feature. It's adult radio. And today, we're doing our quarterly sexual health Q&A segment with renowned experts. So we've got Professor Shingai Mutambwirwa and Dr. Mpume Zenda, who will be addressing all your sexual health related questions and concerns, whether it's sexual performance and pleasure, fertility related challenges to sexually transmitted diseases. All your questions at 11 o'clock. That's the show.
Clement Manyatela between 9 and 12.
You're with Bongani Bingwa on 702.
Taking your calls on 011-883-0702.
Let's talk to Kiboni, who is in Centurion. The good that is happening in your life, Kiboni. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Bongani. Bongani, what's good in my life is SARS during Kloof in Centurion. With the tax season, there was a problem with my SARS claims and all of that. And I walked into that branch. The whole staff knew what they were doing. You are in and out of that office in no time. And the branch manager, as I was walking out, he asked me, "Are you okay? Is everything solved?" I'm like, "Yes." He says, "No, come with me. I just want to check something." He goes onto my profile, and I don't know how he spotted everything. He found like about 7 fraudulent activities happening on my SARS profile against my ID. He made sure that each and every one of them were cancelled because they were nameless people. It's just saying foreign individual or whatever. But he made sure that my profile was clean and it was spick and span. And I thought, I was like, oh, this is my lucky day. This is working out so perfectly for me. But I went with Habi some other time. Same service to everyone. He recognized me again. He's like, ma'am, are you back? Are you okay? Is things okay? And that kind of service is applaudable, especially from a government department.
Which branch is this?
As Doornklooffe and Centurion. And the
Doornklooffe.
branch manager is Mr. Bafana Chabalala.
Mr. Bafana Chabalala, big ups to you. Doornklooffe. So if you've got issues with SARS, perhaps that's where you ought to go. Appreciate that, Giboni. I love it when people get good service, particularly from a public entity, and come back to tell us all about it. Ruth, you're in Fairlands. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
I want to praise the Helen Joseph Hospital. Hello, can you hear me?
I can. I'm listening, Ruth. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if my speakers are on. Yes, no, I had to go there for a biopsy on cancer in the breast, and I was extremely impressed. First of all, with the doctor, all doctors at Helen Joseph, downstairs, upstairs, to the various departments were extremely kind. And then I got to the mammogram department. Well, first I went to the top to the second floor, and I think that's where the breast cancer department is. And it was magnificently painted, clean, marvelous looking, sympathetic, and comforting. Most of all, comforting. Then I was sent to the mammogram department to have a biopsy. And the doctor there was young and elegant, and the nurses as well. And they treated me extremely well. Now, I've been going to the Helen Joseph since the 80s, and I've always been treated well. I've had my eyes done there, and sorry, I can't think of the words now. And they did a very good job. I can still see without glasses. And that was a Dr. Fernandez who did the op. I got the card. And I must say, Helen Joseph needs repairs in various departments. But the doctors and the staff, extremely
Absolutely amazing. Ruth, I'm hoping you got good news from the biopsy.
Thank you. I hope so too. Let's see that.
Fingers crossed for you. Fingers crossed for you, Ruth. I've been to Helen Joseph a number of times, and you've heard me, if you've listened to this show long enough, talk about how impressed they are under enormous pressure. The patient numbers there are quite high, but somehow they've got an efficient system that works. Things do take a little bit of time, but you do get through the system and you do get assistance. And from my experience anyway, the doctors and the nursing staff and everybody all round are usually absolutely amazing.
Got your attention? That's the power of advertising.
Prime Media is SA's leading media company, giving you unmatched reach across radio, audio, video, and digital. That's what you'll experience at the Prime Impact Sales event.
In Joburg, 3 to 7 November. Cape Town, 10 to 13 November. Register and receive a free demo commercial, a custom campaign, and access to exclusive partnerships.
Seats are filling fast. Register today at primeimpact.co.za.
OUTsurance Business Insurance is not just insurance. It's emergency help when you need it most. Switch today and enjoy services like Help at Out, with 24/7 access to panic assistance, roadside assistance, and even office assistance. For catering companies, boutique hotels, guest houses, tour operators, and other industries, OUTsurance Business Insurance are trusted experts in insuring your business. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 0800 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. OUTsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, FNB Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any FNB Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with FNB Premier. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
6 minutes before 9 this weekend, Johannesburg Rosebank is about to get a little more colourful, a little tastier, and a lot fuller of stories. The Blue Table returning with the 7 Colours Feast, and it's described as a pop-up unlike any dinner you've ever had. 7 women, 7 plates, 7 stories. And we're joined now by Trayvon Musa from the Blue Table, the creative director. Trayvon, welcome to 702 Breakfast and good morning.
Good morning, Bongani. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Tell me about the Blue Table. Why is it more than just a meal?
You know, for me, food is always anchored in memory. I'm really interested in what the memory and the stories are that a plate of food can hold. If I just think back to where we started with the Blue Table last year, I presented stories from my childhood, and it really took me into a deep introspection of finding beautiful stories that from my grandmother, my mom, my granddad, and the plates of food we shared that held that memory. From there, I think it all just expanded. And what we're doing this summer is really speaking to all the creatives, or a lot of creatives in Johannesburg, and asking them to share memory, story, and food. This table is going to be Joburg, quintessential Joburg.
All right, just explain to me, as I understand it, for 2 days only, the 25th and 26th October, so my mistake, I said this weekend. So the idea is to get guests to come together to eat, listen, and even remember. Just explain how it all works.
Okay. Well, we're going to be doing a feast. It's definitely a feast, so guests need to come hungry. I would say intermittent fast that morning. It is a 6-course dining experience, and each of the women we've spoken to, from Danny Bowler to Phumzile Sithole, have all shared one specific memory. Phumzile, for example, shared a caraway cabbage from her mother, Dora Sithole, and she's going to give us a memory of a road trip and actually share that memory with guests at the event on the 25th and the 26th of October. We invite guests to sort of share stories back to them. One of our guests already reached out and said, "Oh, my grandmother loved Miss Dora Sithole." And so we're really interested in engaging with strangers and friends to become family over a table of shared food.
And this is going to be happening exactly where in Rosebank?
So it's a secret location. There is a link on our page at Blue Table Projects on Instagram, and it's secret because we want to keep it intimate. It's only 30 guests per day, and it's only over 2 days, and this will be happening every month from October to the end of March next year. It's our summer series.
All right, so it's a secret location. There's a special dress code, I would imagine, if I'm thinking 7 colors.
Sunday best. Sunday best. Come in what you would wear for, you know, the big priest on a Sunday church at a Sunday church meeting.
All right, appreciate your time, Trayvon Musa. You can go to the Blue Table Instagram page to book your seats. This is happening at the end of each month until March next year. Come in your Sunday best, and come and enjoy stories, food, and coming together at the Blue Table.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
Of course, one of the stories that we've been watching on for a number of days now has been the passing of Nathi Mthethwa, a former minister and ambassador to France. As I understand it, his remains will be in South Africa today, or are being brought back to South Africa from today. One, of course, of his close associates no doubt, would be the other former police minister, Bingwa, who had something to say at a memorial family visit for Nathi Mthethwa, paying his respects to offer support to the family. The former police minister, Bingwa, has criticized South Africans who he says are showing little sympathy following Mthethwa's passing. Most of this is in isiZulu, but I will translate. This is a clip courtesy of Newsroom Africa. He speaks in isiZulu and essentially is arguing that the lack of sympathy, no matter what somebody is accused of in their death, indicates South Africa's moral degeneration. Have a listen.
Uyalinda imizuzwana ethile ubadedele bakhala usungabuya ke ngelinye ilanga uzothi wafa nemali yami njalo. But I'm telling you, you just sit there and you say these South Africans are mad. Bafundisi, ngiyanibuza ukuthi angikwazi nikhuphukele entabeni ngenitshela uThixo enze lento ayenze eSodoma naseGomora. I wouldn't mind. Because ni Sodoma ne Gomora manje. South Africans ni Sodoma ne Gomora. Anina inhliziyo anambeza ni nunu.
He says we have no sympathy as South Africans because he is of course reacting to, shall we say, the checkered legacy of Nathi Mthethwa, and I understand his remains are back home in South Africa. But Bingwa, they're saying he wishes what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah would happen to South Africa, because that's how he sees the population and the people of this country. Does that suggest like Bingwa might ever make a return to politics? It's an interesting thought to end the show on this Friday. Hope you have yourselves a fantastic weekend. More good news all round. The more, the merrier, please. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Operations at the University of Fort Hare's Alice campus remain suspended as student organizations take the institution to court over an eviction order. University man shut down the main campus in the Eastern Cape earlier this week following a tense standoff between police and students. Frustrated, students protested over what they've called a governance crisis and poor living conditions. 2 buildings were torched in protest this week. The damage is estimated at 500 million rand. An eviction notice was issued yesterday demanding students to clear out the residences amid the indefinite shutdown. Former SRC President Aphelele Kgalagala says the Eastern Cape High Court is expected to hear their application to interdict the eviction order today.
So we are waiting for those outcomes. Then pending the court outcomes, then the students are not, the university now is barred from actually evicting students.
Government has expressed support for the recent wave of police raids targeting individuals accused of corruption, saying they form part of the mandate of law enforcement agencies. Yesterday, police raided the home of suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia in connection with allegations of defeating the ends of justice. At the same time, the Special Investigating Unit raided the lavish Sandton mansion of businessman Hangwani Maumela, where they seized 3 Lamborghini cars. Maumela has been linked to tender corruption at the Tembisa Hospital, which was first uncovered by slain whistleblower Babita Diokaran. Government spokesperson William Baloyi says law enforcement authorities must be given space to perform their duties.
These operations fall within the normal scope of their mandate to investigate matters and recover assets. The public is reminded that such activities are standard and essential part of government's fight against corruption, ensuring accountability and upholding the rule of law.
Police Minister Senzo Mchunu's chief of staff says he fears he might be killed before presenting evidence at the Madlanga Commission and Parliament. Cedric Nkabinde says armed and masked police officers raided his home on Wednesday night. Nkabinde says he wasn't at home at the time, but his brother was allegedly assaulted by the officers, and he believes there were they were there to confiscate his electronic devices containing evidence.
I know the experience as a police officer myself, where in some instances they can plant a firearm and shoot you, pretending as if you shot them. So the fearing of my life, it comes in that line that why a police officer wearing a balaclava? Why do you hide yourself if you're coming to do a legitimate police work?
Nkabinde says he's reached out to the Madlanga Commission and Parliament about when he can present his evidence and respond to allegations against him made by the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
Should the police want to get hold of me in the process of their investigations, can it be a search and seizure? It will have to be done through my lawyers because I don't trust them, I don't feel safe, and with everything that has been said and with all desperation to link myself and the minister in any wrongdoing, I don't trust them to come without my lawyer.
And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says that the government has approved the framework of a hostage release deal with Hamas as both sides edge closer to ending more than 2 years of a war in Gaza. The accord in Egypt follows a 20-point peace plan for Gaza, which was announced last month by US President Donald Trump. The Israeli government says the ceasefire will take hold within 24 hours. Netanyahu had faced pushback for his far-right allies, with National Security Minister saying he would vote against the agreement, calling the plan to release thousands of Palestinian prisoners in exchange for the 47 hostages remaining in Gaza an unbearable heavy price. Netanyahu has praised Trump and the Israeli military for the war despite a pending genocide case at the International Court of Justice. Gold is trading at $3,966.27 an ounce. The rand is at 17.20 to the dollar, 22.88 to the pound, 19.91 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.16 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy delays on the N1, or rather the N3 South. This is between Marlborough Drive and Vincent Chabalala Road. Roadworks are taking place along the street and they are causing delays. If you're heading towards Bedford View, do expect about a 15-minute hold up or try to use the M1 South as an alternative. Traveling in Tembisa, we still have got that accident scene. It's right on the R21 South. It happened right after Olifantsfontein Road. If you're heading towards Kempton Park, maybe try using the N1 South instead.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with afternoon showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 26 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWM this hour: operations at the University of Fort Hare's Alice campus remain suspended as student organizations take the institution to court over an eviction order.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyatela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, happy Friday. Welcome to the Clement Manyatela Show on this beautiful 10th day of the month of October. Thank you for being with us here on 702. I hope you're wrapping up your week on a good note. I'm not sure I'm wrapping up mine on a good note. So I went on a beautiful run this morning by the promenade here in Cape Town. I'm broadcasting from our Cape Town studios this morning. And I realized 3 kilometers into my run that an injury I suffered this past Sunday on my Achilles tendon hasn't healed, even though we worked on it with my biokineticist, Tato, on Tuesday. This is happening 6 days before the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon. No runner wants to experience this so close to the marathon. So if you are training for the Cape Town Marathon, as you are tapering, please take it easy out there. Avoid injuries, because we're getting closer and closer to the marathon. But all the best with the last few days of training. I'm hoping